What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast, which is brought to you by the one and only Simpson Motorcycle Helmets. Do yourself a favor and head on over to simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com to check out all the models, finishes, and visor options and get yourself dialed in with one of the best helmets on the market. You can also catch the Simpson team at Mama Tried Motorcycle Show March 13th through the 15th. BoostedBrad.com is the spot to find some kick-ass products for your motorcycle. Brad has a product for any budget, from pegs to risers and everything in between. Check out all the products and get yourself some badass gear as well at BoostedBrad.com. Use FastLife at checkout to save yourself 5% off, and give Brad a follow on Instagram at BoostedBrad. Whew, lost my breath on that one. I want to thank John Jessup for his 1 year of supporting this podcast as a sponsor. And as always, you guys can check out Dream Rides, which is a spot if you're looking to have anything done to your Harley-Davidson. His shop in Stockton, California is the spot for in-house dyno tuning, parts, service, and bike sales. And if nothing else, head on over to teamdreamrides.com, which is offering 100 days same as cash financing on all products. All you need is a job and a bank account. And don't forget to give John and the team a follow at Dream Rides John on Instagram. Lexan Moto is growing fast and looking to onboard new dealers in 2020. So, whether you're a small independent shop or a 20,000 square foot megastore, Lexan Moto has a partnership that will work for you. With awesome new gear and more on the way, Lexan offers very competitive dealer margins, fast shipping, and great customer service. Email them at sales@lexanmotorcycle.com and be sure to check them out on Facebook at Lexan Moto USA and Instagram at Lexan Moto. Don't forget to use offer code FASTLIFE at checkout for 15% off your entire order. Paint Huffer Metal Flake is killing the paint game with tons of great flakes, pearls, and other paint-related products. Check out painthuffer.com to see the vast amount of color options and get yourself stocked up with tape and other items needed in the custom paint process. And don't forget to use FastLife13 at checkout to save yourself 10% off, as well as give them a follow on Instagram under Paint Huffer Metal Flake. And if you're in the Phoenix area on March 14th, head on over to Paint Huffer to catch the live art show from 2 to 10 p.m. If you're going to be in Daytona this week, this year, wherever, by Destination Daytona, go over and meet the guys over at ThunderMax and let Jake or any of the rad dudes there show you all about the products they have to make your Harley-Davidson perform and ride amazingly, as well as their electric fans for that hot-ass M8 motor. To check out all their ECM applications and many other products to give your Harley-Davidson some new life, head on over to shoptmax.com and follow ThunderMax EFI on Instagram. I also want to thank the guys over at Big Bear Performance for supporting this podcast over this past year. Having front and rear Olin suspension dialed in by Kevin himself for my fat ass has made my experience on the road an amazing one this past year. Big Bear is the industry leader in Olin suspension sales, service, and tuning. Check out bigbearperformance.com, and you can always give Kevin a call and get the info and answers for your motorcycle's upgrades at 909-479-7788. We're back, guys. This podcast is all about the Campout and just, some of the riding, and then me and my homies that we've created this bond over the last 2-3 years, and we've done some pretty cool shit, and we're just kind of reminiscing and talking about what we've done and what we're gonna do. So if you're interested in coming to our Campout, it's going to be Thursday, April 23rd through the 26th at Cave River Campground in Moyers, Oklahoma. This will be our third one. Technically, we did one before, but it was just kind of like checking out the place, so it would be 4, but technically it's just the third one. So we're gonna make it fun this year, keep it grassroots, no vendors, no big money sponsors. It's just come out, have a good time, and you're gonna hear all about it, so I'm not gonna talk about it now. But I do want to talk about our Patreon and other ways you guys can support this podcast. One of the easiest ways is probably just to rate and share this podcast. When you hear these podcasts that you dig and you like them, just go on the platform that you listen to, and if they have the ability to rate it or review it or whatever you want to say, go ahead and do that. Share this podcast on your social media platforms. Tell your homeboys about it. Tell your mom about it. She might dig it. You know what I mean? My mom actually listens to it now. It's weird. Other way is you can do our Patreon. You can go to our website, fastlifegarage.com, and you can check out the very front page has a link to our Patreon where you can donate $1, $5, whatever you feel comfortable. It drafts it out of your account on the first of every month. You don't really miss it, especially when it's only $1, and it puts you in the running to win a lot of things that we're trying to give away, which I've been slacking, but there are things coming, so it's happening. Also, another very simple way is just to support the brands that sponsor us. Those guys all make products and do badass shit that I think that you're gonna want as a biker, as a painter, as a person that's interested in this industry. So, you know, don't sleep on these guys. They're really good dudes, and they're helping make this podcast last and stay out there. So check it all out. That's the best way to support it. And you know, also, if you guys want to check out some of the video podcasts we've been doing lately, you can go to our YouTube, our Facebook, and all of it is always on our website at fastlifegarage.com. So check it all out, and let's get into this podcast with my buddy James and Big Will Cody himself. Here we go.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
All right, my dudes, we are
Live action.
On the line.
live action role playing.
Turtle Man.
Stock up on some beers over here. Trying to have no.
Yike.
Hey.
Y'all having a good year so far? I haven't really seen y'all since like the party.
Since you're open.
Yeah, your party.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right.
I ain't made it out to
Motherfuckers been busy,
shit.
dog.
Huh?
Everybody been busy.
Yeah, it's been. Dude, I've been in California for a week, Phoenix for a week, and now here, and it's been a mess.
We're jealous as fuck because we ain't been nowhere.
I ain't that.
You're about to go to
that
Switzerland or
jealous.
some shit, or
Ireland, bro.
Ireland?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Hell yeah.
Be pretty cool.
I didn't know they're the same place, right?
The
Not exactly.
come on.
St.
tell
Patty's
them that.
Day 2020.
Are you gonna be able to live through that?
Dude,
I hope so.
you gonna die.
I don't know if I can drink that much dark beer.
Yeah.
You gonna
They
go
don't
to
have
St-
Dos Equis and Corona.
You can
there.
go to St. Patty's Day.
Do I want to?
Yeah,
No,
it's next weekend.
I'm not really into that stuff.
We can get coronavirus together.
We're about to get it tonight.
Did you hear that they shut down like South by Southwest because of that?
Dude, my
It makes
company
sense though,
has
right?
like started. We have travel ban. We have everything. There's a chance that we might start working remote exclusively because of this shit.
Damn, it's just that real?
It is that real.
It's awesome being like working in a shop where nobody shows up all the
Right.
time. The only way I'd get fucked is if you got it and came over to my shop today.
Well, I'm going to St. Patty's Day, so I'll see you
Yeah.
right after.
You might not catch coronavirus, but there's plenty of other ones you can
I
catch.
get
at that
corona.
So Italy was they had a soccer game in Ireland. It was supposed to be like this week, I think, and they canceled it because Italy's supposed to have a big outbreak of this
I
shit.
believe it. The thing that's probably gonna that I think, obviously, well, the disease is horrible and all that goes with it, but the Olympics that are coming up,
Where's it at this year?
It's in fucking Japan.
They'll probably
shit.
they'll probably wrap this up right as soon as the election's over.
Well, the bad thing about it is they said it's only affecting people that are old and already have a weak immune system. So it's no
those are the
worse
ones
than the
that are, like,
flu.
dying, right?
Way more people are dying from the flu than this shit. So I don't think it's a big deal.
But the problem is they don't have a cure or an immunization to it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just
And
another strand of the flu, pretty much.
something. I don't know.
I'm not a doctor, but
I think the whole concept is everybody is afraid of like the unknown. So
Yeah.
the fact that the medical industry hasn't figured it out and people are being impacted in the way that they are, that's the fear that everybody's running with. And at least some people are being proactive about it and they're not having an issue with it, or they're trying to address the issue, I should say. That's probably a much better approach than, we'll see what happens, and however many motherfuckers die, gonna die.
I feel like we're like, oh shit. I feel like we're extremely flexing on them right now with this
We are flexing on
swaggy helmet. Look at all that paint heifer metal flake.
yeah, brother.
2 sponsors in one episode. I need to get a sponsor from Corona right now.
Flake.
Used to be Dos Equis. Now it's
Gilson.
Corona.
Dude, I was going to talk about that. It's kind of distracting, so I'm going to move it out now. But, yeah, so that was the funny thing because the first time we did the camp out, like I was strictly a Dos Equis guy. You know what I mean?
What happened to you?
You know, you just you stick with the beer for a while and then you start trying other shit. And then the second camp out was all that PBR easy.
Yeah.
And then I got health conscience, whatever you want to call it. And this 2.6 gram carb, whatever the hell. It's probably, I feel like I can keep drinking the way I drink, so it's still adding up and stacking up and shit, but it's like, it makes me feel better.
It's
I
a
sleep
little
better at
healthier.
night.
Their marketing's fucking with you. They put it in the slim can and all that
Yeah.
shit. It's
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Why do you think I've been on the Ultra
beer.
forever?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that, you know, I'm hoping that I'll use that gym membership I bought the week we got back from Cali last year that I haven't even
In
gone
August?
yet. I haven't even used it.
Damn.
But I don't want to cancel it because I feel like as soon as I cancel it, then that's going to be the day I want to go. And then that'll be my new excuse is I don't want to reignite a gym membership. You know, because that's a lot of work.
You got to get in there and just
doesn't
do
sound
it,
like
man. It's a routine. You got to get in there every day.
You
Just
do.
knock it out. Do what you want to do.
You can't
and
think about it.
Yeah.
Get that shit done.
Dude, the routine thing is what's hard for me though. Just everything. Like one day, you know, oh fuck yeah, I'll get up at 8, go do this, do that, and then something messes up here, or somebody calls me, and now I got to deal with this. It's just it's so hard to be routine. And I'm making excuses, but it does.
Is it local here in Waxahachie, your gym, or no?
Don't mind me.
It's it's right down the street.
Yeah.
I could run to it. It would be a good solid mile run to the gym every day, and then a good solid mile back. But yeah, I drink too much Corona, so.
Hey,
And you wake up in the morning like, fuck this. You know what I mean?
You remember
if
when
you can get past like that first 3 or 4 weeks, that the soreness stage, it's not that bad because then you just fall in routine. It's just
I like
a
the way
habit
the
to go.
soreness feels.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're doing something, but that shit
Yeah.
sucks at first.
Just you feel looser, like your body, like you know, like it
Yeah.
just releases a lot of tension in your
Yeah.
in your shit. So
It does.
Remember when we first started drinking Dos Equis together, and I told you that all Mexican beers taste the same, and you're
Yeah.
like, bullshit, Dos Equis for life.
yeah, well, I'm a
Then
brand.
now
holder.
you're on another Mexican
So-
beer, and it's like, ooh, this shit's good. It's all tastes the same.
This does not taste like normal Corona,
No,
and I
not
don't
at
really
all.
like normal.
Because
normal
it's like
Corona.
Corona Light.
Even the
Yeah.
This is actually like double light
Yeah.
because they have Corona.
the
and they
Corona
have
Light is
Light,
way better
even though
than
this is Corona
the
Premier.
regular Corona.
Yeah.
I can only do regular Corona if I got fucking salt and a lime.
If you're in Mexico or something.
Yeah. If I'm in Mexico,
Anything
usually
in fucking
Mexico,
Mexico, let's be real.
but usually Mexico's more Dos Equis than it is fucking Corona.
I feel like everybody out west is all in what is that Modelo stuff?
Yeah,
Modelo's
I
good
can't
too.
do that.
It's just
I don't,
heavier.
dude, I feel like it's
darker.
the
heavier
the
for
Keystone or Keystone of fucking Mexican beers is what it feels like.
I don't think you should think that because it's kind of like on the fancier end.
Why?
Maybe-
Because it has a gold foil top.
No, but it actually is.
Pop
If you start fucking with like Victoria might be considered like the Keystone, something like that.
I'm not fucking with no Mexican beers
they're
called
darker.
Victoria.
They're all good.
Maybe like Michelle or something. You know, something that kind of goes Mexican. Victoria is not on that fucking list.
I used
so.
to go to Sam's Club and get like the variety pack, and they
Uh-huh.
would give you 3 of each, like Pacifico,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Victoria,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
I do
And
fuck
I'd be
with
like,
those
yo,
souls.
boom, boom, boom. Yep.
Yeah, souls
Those
ain't
souls
bad.
go hard, dude.
Yeah.
Got a little like spritzer feel to
They
them.
got
Ship's
some
weird.
soul in them.
Yeah. Shit, dude. Some girl commented on my the Instagram post. I don't know. I guess some girl was stalking me all the way back to that time we were there, and I took a picture with that dude with the Dos Equis shirt on.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I know that dude. He's a real ladies' man or some shit like that." I was like, "Wow, like."
I think he just takes out the trash.
Yeah. Well, everybody in Crystal Beach knows this cat, so
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
he's
The guy at Ship's Wheel.
Yeah,
Is that was it Ship's
Ship's
Wheel?
Wheel.
yeah?
That bar?
He wasn't there.
Yeah.
You wasn't there the first
No,
year.
not
though.
that
No,
year.
no, no.
Yeah.
The first year was when he had the Halloween party, and I had to leave to get
That's
back to the
right.
Halloween
That's right.
party.
Yeah.
That's right. You left Saturday morning.
But we went there this year, and
Yeah.
apparently it was all renovated. And the motherfucker with
yeah,
that
they
shirt
redid
was
it.
not there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they got workers' comp there now. They had to actually pay him, put him on payroll.
They put a
and shit.
fucking DJ booth and everything. They're like legit.
It's bougie.
For Crystal Beach. You like ride your golf cart up to it and shit.
Yeah,
Man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got to do a lot this year. I didn't after we did Cali, man. I didn't really get to do much. It seems like Sturgis, that was it. But that was like a quick rip up and back. You know what I mean? I didn't.
That's still pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty big for you, and it was like for you, it wasn't a a travel trip, but it was definitely a big industry trip for you.
Yeah, it was kind of like a last minute decision and stuff. And then of course we did the Simpson Campout, which is actually going to be something huge this year.
Yes.
So, I guess spoiler alert for people on this listening to the podcast that Simpson's actually going to like go in with us on that part of the campout. So in the wintertime, we'll do the New Bronxville is a huge thing. Simpson's going to be involved and get a little love from those guys.
Absolutely.
Fuck, man.
Kind of reinvigorate that.
Seems like so I get every other weekend off. So it's 50-50 shot that I am off for this shit. And it seems like everything is falling on my weekend of work this year. Your camp out, the Simpson party, everything's on my weekend of work this year. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to
What do you get? Do you get to
Get my
like
ass
flip with
on.
somebody? You could be like, hey man, you
just
want to
quit.
trade me weekends? Do you do that?
Well, that's what I'm hoping, just to trade weekends. But
Do you like you could like say, hey, dude, I'll give you $100 if you just take my spot this weekend?
it don't work like that because it's only me and one other guy. So
then it
if
definitely should work like that.
That's his only weekend. That's his only. He only gets every other weekend off. So if he works,
What if y'all just trade a weekend together?
I know, but if he works for me one weekend, well, I mean, that's what I'm hoping. So if he works for me, I work for him the next weekend, right?
Yeah.
But if he works for, like, say, I take vacation the weekend that I'm supposed to work, he's got to work 24 days before he gets another weekend off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
3 weekends in a row, basically.
Y'all
Right.
should restructure.
Well, it's only me and one other guy, and that's
Yeah.
about the best way you can do it. But
Well, shit, man. You gonna make it this one though? Have you figured it out yet?
I'm gonna make it no matter what. I mean,
I
I'll
was about to say.
I'll just call in sick or something.
I'm just thinking of that guy with the balloons.
He doesn't
where he's
care
just
about
like,
24-day guy now.
No. So I think between Ireland and the Sturgis trip we have planned, I think I have enough vacation if my
If you
boss
have to drop it on him?
If my boss won't let me trade with the other guy, then I'll just burn like 2 days. I might have to come up Friday instead of Thursday, but
Yeah.
I'll still just burn 2 days and come up.
You know, the real reason why, like I don't know if we really talked about it much, and but just changing it to Thursday was just for the people that were
Traveling so
so
far.
far.
Yeah, for sure.
That way they have a little bit more time to decompress and
Makes
kind
complete
of
sense.
Well, and
relax.
some people could leave like Wednesday after work and knock out half the trip and
Yeah.
then ride in Thursday.
Exactly.
And
So-
you can't and that you can't add it on the back end, so you have to add it on the front end. It's the only thing that makes
Right,
sense.
right, yeah.
And I mean, quite honestly, it's almost needed in a sense, especially for this style of function, that you're putting something together that we have people that at one point were just kind of coming from DFW, right?
Yeah.
And then you have people that are coming from DFW and surrounding areas, and then now you have DFW surrounding areas, surrounding states,
Yeah.
and ultimately this fourth one is going to be DFW, some surrounding states, and
Way off stage.
to the coasts.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got
So, I
confirmed
mean-
people coming from all over at this point.
So I mean,
have
the
to cater
first
to
time
that.
we did the whole thing was we went up there and we just did like a practice run to see how the campsite was,
Yeah.
and we had a good time.
Had a great time,
We didn't have any shirts on,
guaranteed.
and
That
then
was great.
so that was like a quick I think we figured we were gonna do that on a Monday and did it on a Friday or Saturday or some shit.
Yeah.
But the actual camp out was then a month later. Like the
Correct.
first official #1 camp out was a month later, and that's when you came out.
We did.
Steve Chamberlain from up north came down. He did it solo, and I think that's what really created a real good core. So that was kind of like the birth of the East Texas boys.
Right.
And then I wouldn't say I didn't know what was going on in Michigan, but meeting Steve and then following him and all that stuff from there on out, it kind of connected us to the the Michigan area. And then we had
agree.
the first camp. There was dudes from Kansas and
Yeah.
East or West Texas and stuff like that. So we didn't have a lot of people from Texas though. Only a couple people from Houston. I think
from
on the
Texas
first camp
extended,
out.
yeah, it was all just DFW essentially.
So-
Outside of the few people that came in from out of state, you're right. I mean, Steve took it upon himself to make that happen, and that really did, I think, open up that vein
Yeah.
north in a lot of ways, and that not only did that obviously establish our relationship with him and everything that we've grown since then, but I think that also moreover showed other people from there or from maybe
Yeah,
the Northeast
further-
or whatever,
further away.
like this can actually be fucking
That you
done.
can fucking get out and ride.
Yeah.
And
Make-
that,
So-
I think who else? I think didn't Blake come to that first one too?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's it.
So there was a handful of folks from out of the state, but generally speaking, it wasn't.
It was pretty.
It was kind of friends and family type thing. Us extended.
Well, I think it was like 40 or 50 people. I think that.
The first one?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it got.
We had
that
the
large.
scare. We had the scare of rain though, so a lot of people
We
backed
did.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
handful of folks that.
As soon as I got there and set
confirmed to
my
come.
shit up, it started pouring for a little bit, but that was the only rain we
Yeah,
got.
it poured that first like hour or so
Mm-hmm.
that we all got there, and it just kind of like dumped on us. And then after that, it was sunshiny and perfect the whole
Yeah.
time.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But back here in Dallas, it was getting hammered with rain. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
no,
kind of the one thing
that's
that I
right.
wanted to try to tell people about these kind of trips is to understand that, especially if you're traveling far, like weather is going to be a factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like hopefully that the weekend of the camp out, it's not covered in rain the whole weekend.
Right.
But if it is, we're still going to be there.
Still gonna party.
It's just going to be a little wet. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
well, I want people to still understand that, like, you're probably going to catch weather still, even if you're like up north still. You're probably going to leave. It's going to be cold.
It's gonna be cold as fuck.
Just
yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Just get over with
It's
it.
true.
It's-
I mean, it's not going to be easy, but you're absolutely right.
I feel like
the juice is worth the squeeze to make that trip.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, because even Steve on the first time, I think it was, he didn't, not to make this all about Steve, but he didn't.
He got rained on for sure.
He got rained on, and then I think on the way back he actually caught some snow, which is crazy. But guess what he did do? He showed up, and the few days that he was there, he experienced like 75-degree temps
Yeah.
and enjoyed the outdoors just like all of us did.
Yeah.
And then his travel back was worth that trip.
Yeah.
And got to ride some badass roads.
Yeah, yeah. And I think honestly, more than the roads, it was the people,
The trip,
the
it's-
connection with
it's
everybody
definitely about the
was everything.
the campground. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the campground's just. I mean, being that like Adam Sandoval is really into bikes as well. Clearly, it makes the whole experience there just like you feel like you're in a
Yeah.
in like a mini Sturgis where everything's about bikers and shit.
He's
yeah.
welcoming me. You know.
Yeah.
He's
So how was it for you the first time when you came up? Like, because I mean, we did the bike for you, the bagger,
Yeah.
and then you know, like I knew you through that, but I didn't really know you through any other way.
I never even met you before.
And
you
kind
painted
of,
it.
yeah, and you kind of like rolled up solo, didn't bring any of the homies,
Nah.
just showed up on the most standout bike there.
Yeah.
It was
Definitely.
just like Steve.
Yeah,
With a
definitely.
big wheel.
So you finished painting that in the end of July. I went to Sturgis in August, and then the campout was September.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I had put like 2,000 miles on it, and they wanted to come do like a bolt check and everything after that. So I went to Dallas, and they did all that. And then I knew y'all was doing the campout this weekend just from following you on Instagram and stuff like that. And I think I sent you a message and like, man, you know, I don't remember what I said, but I was like, is it gonna be weird if I show up, or you know, I was like, because I mean, I was fucking nervous. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I know I'm gonna be the only fucking big wheel there.
Yeah.
you know, but I like to ride. I want to fucking be there, and I mean, camping's that I love that shit.
Yeah.
you know, and my wife was like, what are you gonna do if you get there and nobody likes you? I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'll just go home. But I was planning on riding up with y'all that day, and they didn't get my bike done early enough, so I met y'all a little bit later. But
Yeah.
I mean, man, fuck, when I pulled up, you know, checked into the office there and just started setting my shit up, you know, there was a good group of y'all already there, probably 15, 20 people already there, you know.
Yeah.
So I just walked up. What's up, guys? You know, I didn't know nobody. I mean, I knew his face. You know, never
Yeah.
met nobody. I just started. Fuck, that's what you do. You just show up and
I
start.
think you pulled up, and then I think some of us walked over.
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
as soon as
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because
That's what
it's
I
not like
remember.
it's not some big thing where like each individual person goes unnoticed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's kind of what's also cool about it is like it can be the biggest event of the year for some people, because when you go there, you're gonna feel like I think that when you participate in everything by camping, I forgot to turn the compressor off. Sorry. when you camp in the center that we set up for camping, like you're forced to interact with people
Right.
all day long, and you
Yeah,
and
that's
you
what I
make
was-
friends. It's you got to be like, I think everybody that's gone so far has walked away like, fuck, man, like these people are cool.
A sense of belonging.
Yeah. And, you know, like, as it gets bigger, you know, you're going to get a little cliques going on. I mean, like, Mark and Steve Chamberlain and, like, Peaches that showed up last year, they were all kind of in their little corner talking and stuff. And then it becomes fun. For me, it was fun because I could just, like, talk to these people, talk to the ladies, this guy. And it's like you're constantly walking around and shit. So,
yeah, just don't show up a fucking standoff person, like,
100%.
In your corner, you know, not want to talk to nobody. Just fucking interact with everybody. Everybody's cool. There's no drama. There's nobody's talking shit. You know, we're all gonna pick on each other, but it's not nobody fucking.
I mean, if you start crying, we'll stop.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember when you pulled up that very first time, being someone nobody knew and nobody had ever spent any time with. And then you roll up on that bike, right? And that bike is just a flexor to begin with. You just see nothing but wheel rolling through, and people are like, "All right, what's up, bro?
Who's this fucking guy?
What's going on?" And you know what? I think the best part about it was kind of what the epitome of this the whole Campout is that. Nobody really cared. Like it wasn't a specific style of bike event, right? Mm-hmm. It was, hey, another guy rolled up on a bike, and this motherfucker rolled up on a big wheel with a 30. And people
what
were
a
like,
fucking retard!
Hey, dude, what's going on? I gotta know you for a minute.
What was it, Slick Rick? That one dude we started calling Slick Rick.
They dropped his shit.
Oh my god!
He had like a CVO, but
not once but twice.
But see, like when that dude showed up, you know, like I don't remember who the guy was, but like that group that showed up, I think that was the first one, right? Mm-hmm. Like they showed up. Obviously, they were there for the camp out, but then they camped like on the other side of the property.
I think they had a cabin.
Yeah. Well, no, I think they were because then the girls that were with them came over and stole beer from us.
Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. She come over in a bikini. Everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, trust me, guys, that don't happen very often at the Fast Life Campout.
Yeah,
no.
There's a lot of married folks there. But no,
all the bikini girls we know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was kind of the thing with that is it. You know, they were there, but we never got to meet them, and you know, like they didn't really experience what it was about.
Right.
So
I agree.
You know, that's kind of the one thing I try to tell everybody is like, look, if you just aren't a camper and you got to do the cabin thing, or you have to do, which I don't even think any of the cabins are available anymore.
Probably.
I think everybody's got them booked.
They're already rented out. Yeah.
But for the most part, man, like fuck, man, just come there. There's got to be a dollar store or something. You go get you a little air mattress or some shit, man. It ain't that bad.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know.
And it's to me, it's a shame to have. Say you come, regardless of how long you come, right, or how long you ride to get there, to have essentially because the whole area that we camp out in is like a circle that's kind of cut off by a road that is a big circle that loops around its campsite. To have your experience cut off by a gravel road. Like you're either in the circle or you're out of the circle, and those folks chose not to come across that line and just engage with everybody. Yeah. It's a waste. Why do you make the trip if you're not going to cross that line? I don't know.
I would say that's more the standoffishness. Like that's how people could or would be probably considered standoffish because they set up. I mean, it's different if like you set up your camp somewhere else, which. The reason I say just camp here is that you're always here right when it's going on. Like it's just easier to stay involved with things. But, you know, I get it. Like you camp over there or whatever the case may be. It's like, you know, it just sucks, man. Like I want people to get the most of these kind of experiences coming to these campouts because, you know, I think traveling on bikes is nerve-wracking for a lot of people that's never done it before. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people that want to come to the campout now are struggling trying to find somebody to go with them because they don't want to ride a couple states, you know, over to it.
Yeah, I just
show
up.
That.
I understand that. Last 2 years, I just threw a hammock up. I mean, because I was by myself, you know.
Well, that's the thing.
This year, I'll probably have my chick, so, I mean, it'll be a tent, but you can throw a hammock. There's plenty of trees. You can throw a hammock up. It's easy. You ain't got to carry a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, what do you say to those people? Because those people are you and me and everybody like us, right? Before we met one another.
Yeah.
You know, until you have the group, you have yourself. I spent almost my whole riding career riding solo. and until I had the group, I had to fend for myself. So to all those people out there, it's one of those things. Just like if you have that desire inside of you to be a part of something, greater than yourself, make the effort. Make the effort and show up. And I promise you, this will be worth your while. The selection of people that are there, the folks that actually participate, they want to be there just as much as you do.
Yeah.
So,
and they will, man, like
they will be your reward.
Yeah.
They will be your reward for the effort, regardless of where you're coming from. Your reward will be the people and the experience that those people provide you when you show up and you make that effort.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you roll in solo, 10 deep, 20 deep. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of that day, whenever your ride stops, you show up to a campsite full of like-minded people that are there to have a good time just like you.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, what's really kind of spawned from this camp out is once again talking about Steve is what he's done up north and how he's brought a lot of the Michigan and Pennsylvania and all those northern states together doing the same shit. Even though we haven't had a chance to go up there yet, but it's still like something that I know all of us want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But which I've said a million times on these podcasts, but like creating that network of friends across the country. I mean, we all went to Cali last year. It was perfect example.
Yep.
Like even though like all the people we met on there, except for like the place that you provided for us.
Yeah.
Like I just knew them through business and stuff, but these kind of connections make it easier for us to travel across country. I mean, it was and not to mention that, like finding solutions to bikes and shit when we had problems.
Absolutely.
You know what I
That
mean?
was a big help.
It definitely was, and it was a result of people.
Yeah.
That's really what I mean. You talk about this event, just like any other event. It's all a matter of how do things, how are they structured, how are they put together, what's the organization look like. But what actually makes it is the individuals and the people.
Right.
So this is when we talk about the Campout, we talk about a grassroots, stripped down, for the people, by the people event.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not coming there to see a vendor. You're not coming there to see a company. You're not coming there to see anybody
See a band
other
or
than exactly.
yeah.
We've been trying to get Jesse to play at it.
He might. He might have a rap off again, right?
Yeah, no, that was a
Maybe the only way he makes it if you pay him.
But so what do you walk away with, right? You walk away with the experience of that ride, and you walk away with the experience of those people. And that to me is, God, man, it's like the essence of what this all is. Because from the very first to now the third or fourth unofficial, right? Or third official.
Yeah.
It's been about the people, and the relationships that we've all formed have been just strengthening over time. And it all comes from just meeting, having conversations for people that are interested in the same type of shit. And that's the greatest part. That's the greatest part.
There's no way I'd be sitting here at this table, y'all, if I wouldn't have went to the first camp out.
And how crazy
At
is
all.
that?
Yeah.
How crazy, because like,
I mean,
to-
think about
to
all
me,
the
he's
shit
like
we've
a
done
brother.
since, like, I guess September of last year would have been a year that we've, like, all been hanging out, or at least me and you have been hanging out, and you've been a part of, like, all of our
Right.
Yeah.
little group. And, fuck, man, I think we finished out 2018 pretty strong. We had a good time in Galveston.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then what did we do? And then Easy Riders, we had a fucking
Yep.
blast down there.
Blast and Austin.
And then the camp out, and then like the second one, you know what I
Spring
mean?
camp
And
out.
then that was also a pivotal camp out for Cody as well, because that was when he had to retire the big wheel.
Yeah.
So
Fuck that wobbling bitch.
But you know what? At the same time, so Cody came to the first one fucking alone.
Yeah.
And that was huge props. Huge. But what happened with Cody was after he came to the first one, he experienced something that he could not keep to himself.
Yeah.
He could not. So he went back to where he's from. It was East Texas, motherfucking
Texas.
And what did he do the next one? He came back with a gang of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And that was simply a result of the first one and the people that he met
Yeah.
And the way that he knew you guys will enjoy this shit if you just show up. And now, not only did he bring those people, but those people are just as tight as Cody.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy how that.
How did this all change how you and your friends rode in East Texas? Like, did it change what you guys did together on bikes?
Well, I mean, we tried to ride together as much as we could. I've said it before. Jacob don't get much time off, and me and Larry we had street glides. Jacob's always rode a Dyna. I mean, he's a Dyna lover forever. Yeah. Even though he's talking about a new Softail lowrider S, but man, it didn't.
Did it change what you guys wanted to do on the bikes when you left your town? Because it seems like you guys were. I mean, I think the first time you found us, the garage, the Fast Life garage was. I think you said it was
ROT.
Yeah, we had the gold FXR.
15 or 16 was that?
17.
17. Yeah.
And so I haven't been to ROT since then.
I haven't either.
It's a good time, but
no, yeah, it's a party, yeah, but my first bike I bought was in 15. So, and my thinking was I did want to travel at that time. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm going to go buy the bike that has bags and all the shit and it's supposed to be comfortable and all this shit that you can buy, And I just had a street glide or whatever. And then, got into seeing the big wheel shit. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. It looks good, Everybody suck you off when you're at a gas station, but
that's what it was like. We used to joke about this. We'd all talk shit about Cody's bike, and you could tell he kind of like, it was a cool bike, but we would like fuck with you because you had it.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we got to a gas station, like, oh my God, I love that thing. What is that? Is that a spaceship?
Yeah. Fuck him. Yeah. I'll never forget. What was it? Green Harley Davidson when we was down there for Giddy Up. And we went down there. And,
no, it was a
Simpson show.
It wasn't Giddy Up. It was
a Simpson.
Yeah,
the first I guess the unofficial first time we did the Simpson Campout thing.
We went down there. We was all parked up, and we was all flexing in a line and everything. Cody parks by himself over there.
I parked with y'all.
He was in a dirt.
You just didn't have
photo
room,
shoot
right?
took place.
there was people fucking talking to me. I'm like, my buddies are leaving. I got to get on my bike. I got to go. They're like all trying to talk to me.
They didn't know you were with us, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
There's a reason why. Yeah. But yeah, like 12 motherfuckers come out the parking lot like, ooh, what's going on with that?
But I guess
that's
kind of
big wheel in a nutshell, isn't it?
That is. For sure. But I guess kind of back to the original question was it totally changed my riding style going to the Campout. Like it changed that. I mean, I know you've said it before. You can fucking ride big wheels cross country. Yeah. Is it the most comfortable thing? Is it the fastest thing? No, absolutely not. But
I'd say it's pretty comfortable. But
it's comfortable.
You just don't get the versatility of being able to enjoy the different terrains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then when you get like a group of y'all riding together, and y'all are blasting way past me. I can do like 90 tops. It's kind of that's the ego at the gas station. When you get all the looks, it's cool, but when everybody's hauling ass past you, it's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Because I knew, not trying to church nothing up, but I knew my riding ability exceeded that fucking bike.
Yeah.
So I was like,
was it like that second camp out that really kind of like made you just say, because I know you wanted to go to Cali with us.
Yeah.
And which was taking place a month later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but I think, were you, before the Campout, were you originally thinking about going on getting a new lowrider? Or was it?
It was on my mind after the first Campout.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it real hard.
Yeah, because you had asked about Dynas and shit a couple times.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck, man. But I just spent a shit ton of money on that bike. So I was like, it's probably not the best move to buy another bike right now.
Yeah.
And then the second Campout, it just dumped me in. I was like, fuck this. I got to have another bike. Because if I'm going to ride with these fuckers all the time, I got to have another bike.
It's funny, though, because on the second Campout, like I said, you brought a bunch of guys from East Texas, and I was actually up in that mix with you when we was riding Talamina. And I think I was maybe one or two behind you in the line. And even though you had that big bull, you were wrestling that motherfucker it was actually pretty impressive because, I mean, obviously you don't see the back of your bike when you ride, but when you see the rear end of that of the big wheel, and it's kind of got like the dovetail and everything swoop back, it moves as one, right? So it floats as a spaceship. You almost don't even see the wheel.
Yeah.
So it does, right?
It's like a pontoon boat.
It was, but it's crazy because you can see the bend of the road, but you never saw the bend of his tire.
Right.
You just saw the rear end of that thing, and he was just fighting the motherfucker. It was great. It was good to see, but I could tell like that whole thing was, like you said, you exceeded the skill of the bike, but the hell if you didn't push that thing. You pushed that thing as hard as you could, and it was still impressive because you rode with him.
Yeah. You rode with him. Yeah. So how did you, and like I said, that Cali trip, like that was the first time for you guys. And I know we've already, for those of you listening, there's 2 episodes based on that Cali trip. But,
great episodes.
Like you guys both had this idea that you wanted to travel on the bikes and go check that shit out. Yeah. The Campout was kind of like a mini taste of that, especially for us because it's only like 150 miles away from us. But how was it now in hindsight, 8-9 months later, almost a year later, thinking about that Cali trip? Like, how have you been able to sit with it?
Shit. That's all I want to do now is travel.
I mean, we've talked about it some just together, but the Cali trip for me changed my life. Yeah, in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. It made me think about. It just made me think about how I want to live my life long term, and the things that I'd like to do as far as travel is concerned. Mm-hmm. I'd always like to travel, and that is not necessarily exclusive to motorcycles, but I definitely want to do more on motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And it's changed my life so much to the point that I'm literally restructuring my whole existence to put myself in a position to do that.
To spend more time out there.
To spend more time traveling, spend more time on the road.
Right.
I find that a lot of people, especially Americans, get caught up in the rat race, right? They get caught up in, I want things, I want stuff, I want to have what is expected in society, that type of thing. And they accumulate the debt that goes along with that. And not exclusively because of that trip, but it's a big fucking catalyst. I really have jumped full feet into flipping my life over. Mm-hmm. And I'm pushing towards tiny living, right? So that is a direct result of traveling on a motorcycle with all y'all. More. So I can literally not be in that rat race any longer, right? So I'm not the guy that's tied to a 30-year mortgage, and I have to then have this giant house, and in order to pay that house, I have to have a job that I don't like, that I have to drive to where I don't want to drive to. It's the whole race, right? Yeah. You're tied to the concept of what life is supposed to be. Exactly. Yeah. So if I want to set up my life in the way that I see fit, which hopefully will be owning my own property with a extremely reasonable housing expense. Yeah. Therefore, freeing up all the other money that I'm able to make to allow me to travel and to allow me to do the things that we did. Yeah. The fuck if that's not like that is the most impactful thing that maybe I've ever experienced in my life. Like
y'all both traveled, you've both gone to Mexico and done like the normal vacation things and stuff. How much different is it traveling on a motorcycle with your friends versus normal traveling just for vacation shit? Like, like to me, I guess to give you an example of where I'm going with that, like for me, getting on like when you leave the house, right? When you that night before, it's hard to sleep. You got to do drugs and shit just to go to sleep.
You got to drink a lot and feel like shit the next day.
Yeah, I've always said that that's the only way I could really get the rest that I need to go on this trip is to get fucked up the night before.
Yep.
But especially in those first, like, let's say this 14-day trip we took, like those first fucking 5 days, you're just like thinking like, fuck, man, we got 10 more, we got 12 more,
Exactly.
we got 9 more these days. And then it's like once you hit that halfway mark, a little bit of depression starts to kick in. A little bit of like, man, like I don't want this to end. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like it goes so fast. Like 2 weeks, like when we did that Cali trip, think about 2 weeks of every day. Like, 2 weeks ago, it seems like forever. Like you've been moving, James. So like 2 weeks ago, you were doing that shit. But like 2 weeks on that trip just went by like that.
Yep.
And then now we have to live like through the pictures and the conversations like we'll probably have once we get out of this podcast later and we get a little bit more sauced up.
Hell yeah.
But to me, so what I guess I'm trying to remember what my question was like, how much different is it from that kind of traveling versus
right? Well, it's different. I would say both are still fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I still enjoy going to Mexico or going to the Dominican with my wife and going to the beach and all inclusive resort. You're still having fun. You're still partying, doing the same shit. To me, it's a different eye-opening experience. Like you're out there with your buddies pretty much like in the fucking wild. Like you're riding down fucking highways, you're pulling over in a little camp spot, you're camping here one night, you
sleep in someone's backyard the next night.
You're crashing in a hotel every 3 or 4 days just so you can fucking shower, I mean, sleeping in people's backyard that you've met throughout your motorcycling career.
I mean, not even that. Like we slept in one of your friends' backyards.
Yeah, one of my neighbors was from Durango, and they moved not too long before we left. And fuck, he told me before we left because he knew we was going on that trip. It's like, y'all hit me up when we're coming through Durango, and y'all can crash in my backyard.
How awesome was that setting though?
That was
like,
nice.
Oh, it was beautiful.
In Colorado when we sat up there and they cook what they cook steaks for us, and we just sat out there. There's a fucking river going through there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't have to worry about shit.
Yeah, we just sat there and drank beer. God, like that kind of setting, like we're describing it right now on this podcast, but it's like being there. It's like you couldn't really fucking explain it. Then the bonfire, and we all got fucked up around it late at night. So it's just
I think you just hit on it though. Oftentimes we find that when we travel, when we experience things, regardless of what it is, whether you try to capture it or not, it's very often that you can't actually put it into words, or you can't express it with a photo or a video or whatever. The experience of travel is something that the only way you can say what it is or feel what it is to simply do that, experience it, right? And I've done individual motorcycle travel, I've done group motorcycle travel, I've done individual airline travel, I've done group airline travel. The most distinct differences I seem to find is you have a vacation or you have a trip.
Yeah.
And a vacation to me is kind of like what you described. You'll kick it down to Mexico or fucking Puerto Vallarta or wherever you're gonna go, right? And you're just gonna kick it on a beach, right?
Once you get there, like everything's there. You don't have to worry about shit.
You stand still. You just relax. It's a decompress. I've also taken trips where you travel and you explore and you adventure, and those are the ones that I think are more life changing. Right, those are the ones that have the lasting impact. I think you need both in your life because everybody needs a break, but everybody also needs to experience more than their bubble in their town or their city or their state.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, it opens you up to what this world has to hold and what this country is, what everything is. The things that you learn about in your textbooks, you're actually having come to life, right? And then when you do that with the people that are closest to you,
It's no better.
You can't beat that.
No better.
You can't touch that. And I mean, I was thinking about it earlier today. Actually, the way that like our trip last year compares to me is I grew up in sports my whole life. Right. Last year felt like the closest thing to sports that I've ever felt in my adult life. I felt like every day we were winning a championship together in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can see that. Yeah.
Because there's such a euphoria that comes with that after all the hard work that you put in, after the milestones that you're accomplishing,
and just the planning of it, man,
and the planning that goes into it. So
And
it's like
sometimes
when
you have
hit
to
a
reroute
benchmark-
and go different options because
Yeah.
you know, like we did, we had to avoid a storm. You know, and some shit changes. You know,
When you hit those benchmarks, though, it is it's nothing that you have to celebrate it. It has to be something that has impacted your day, your life, your existence, and it's man, I don't even know how to really put it into words because
I think that sports
can't.
analogy was pretty good because you know, growing up playing basketball and just remembering those bus rides with all the dudes getting ready, that excitement to get to the game, and then you're there and you're like, fuck, man, like what are we doing? And you know what I mean, like that kind of
Absolutely.
forced camaraderie with people. You know, like there was probably adults there ushering us around, but it still felt like we were in a foreign place together as kids.
Right.
You know, playing sports and shit. You know what I mean?
And at the end of that, what happened? You knew that whatever that challenge was, that you were there with your teammates or you were there with your riding partners or whatever it is. You experienced it together, and it was something that every fucking one of you experienced the same thing. So at the end of the day, nobody else on this planet can say they did exactly what you just did. So you take that away with this group of your football team or your baseball team or basketball, you know. But like with our ride, we took that away with us 6 guys. And that, to me, is something that will forever, until the day I die, connect me to you 5 guys.
Yeah, it's
Forever.
true.
Yeah.
So I will never forget it. I will never devalue it. I will always put it to what it was. And that to me is you can't touch that.
You know, I like that what you said there, because the first trip I ever did to Cali, the people that I went with, we ended up having, you know, some of us are still close, but some of us fell out. Not bad fallout. We just kind of, you know, went our own ways. But
Sure.
there's still that thing, like, and I see that dude, like we have that connection that, like, even though we don't, you know what I mean, like it's there still. I'm really trying to figure out how to
you've
say
been
it.
places together. You've
Yeah.
experienced shit that a lot of people don't get
And
to experience.
that first trip, you know, we had a lot of learning curves. You know what I mean? So a lot of learning curves
I
of
bet.
time and time management riding. And so, like, I think that first trip I did to Cali to San Francisco and back, we did it in like 9 days.
It's
Dude,
pushing hard.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
And it was a lot of riding. You know what I mean? A lot of ground coverage each day, and then no real ever time to decompress once you
Right.
get to a certain spot.
Right.
So, but yeah, like you want to. It's like you always share that with the person. It's kind of a weird connection that you know, you might grow apart, you know, peacefully or in a more hostile way, but you know, you can always like go reminisce about that trip, and you know what I mean. Like I do,
never
like
take that away.
every time I think about that trip, I think about those guys that went with me.
Yep.
And regardless of our current situations as friends or whatnot, I still go like, fuck, man. Like I remember how stoked he was to go on the trip.
Yep.
I remember how stoked this dude was. I remember this took place, and it's a great timeline to think about in your life, like, you know, past, presents, and stuff like that.
And
So-
rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Whether and that, I think that's travel in a nutshell. It's travel. It's experiencing things, especially when you're able to touch firsts.
Yeah.
You know, those are things that are just important as hell. But then you add the element of motorcycle to it, bro. You can't touch that.
Yeah.
Because like we're not just going to a destination, but we are experiencing the environment, the atmosphere, the wind, the rain, everything on the way.
All the distractions are taken away because you have to focus on the ride, which is focusing on the elements outside of you and how they interact with your ability to ride. So
Whether they suck or not.
yeah, you absorb a lot more. And that's what I've always said about traveling on a bike. Like I still, because of traveling on a bike, when I do take road trips in cars, like I do have the ability to kind of soak and absorb it in a little bit, but it's just not the same as a bike, man.
Yeah, I definitely do not soak it in the same.
You know, you can't get there as fast. That's that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions I think people have. Like, if you were to say, where you're staying at now on the other side of Dallas Fort Worth compared to where we are, we could probably get to your place quicker on a bike in that sense, right?
Guaranteed.
Because we can probably rip through the traffic, blah blah blah. But if we're going from here to Phoenix, there's just no way that the bike can get there as fast as a car. Like, you can sit in a car and do 350 in one push.
Yeah, no
on the bike,
problem.
you're doing 100. If you're feeling good, you're doing 150.
Yeah.
And, then you got to stop for 20 or 30 minutes and gas up and get your shit back together. It's really hard to make that kind of time. You know what I mean?
You can't just gas and go for 500 miles. Like, you just fucking can't.
Your ass needs a break.
So it's like it was kind of I was thinking about that because when me and Britta, went to Cali this January, we left here, same kind of concept. We left about 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And we drove west and we hit we ended up stopping and crashing in Yuma, Arizona, which is the border of Cali, at like 10 p.m.
10. So you got to Cali.
Yeah, I mean, Cali was like the next exit.
Damn.
Right?
From like when
Where
you
we
leave,
stay.
like 3 a.m.
Yeah. On a car.
That's moving,
Yeah.
On a bike, like I've done, Dallas to Phoenix, and that's right at 1,100 miles.
Yeah.
This was like another 150 or maybe 200. So it was about 1,300 miles, I think.
Did you feel as accomplished as you would if you were to have ridden a
felt
motorcycle?
well.
There's no way.
I think I would. I didn't feel accomplished, but I felt great the fact that we got so close. So the next day was going to be not so much time
short
getting
haul,
to the next place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was able to make that part of the trip a lot easier as far as getting things done. But when it comes to bikes, I've talked to people a lot. Told you guys my theories is like that. Leaving around 3 a.m. it allows, especially when you're traveling across time zones, it really helps you kind of get more out of your day. Right. And it's already hard enough to fall asleep before a bike trip as it is. So, whether you get 2 hours of sleep, like what'd you end up getting on it? Like,
well, he slept at, I got to James's house at like 11:30. And
11:30, we're leaving at 3.
I was up.
You had to leave at 2.
We were up at 2, yeah.
Yeah, and I was up at like, fuck. I mean, I couldn't even sleep. I probably got like really 1 hour sleep. And other than that, I was just up, like twiddling my thumbs, like, fuck, I don't want to be the last one on the bike. I don't want to be I was like, just like anxious to go, fuck, let's go. Why don't we just leave right now?
Yeah.
It was a long
I did that once. It didn't work out too well.
Get 4 hours down the road.
Exactly. I ended up stopping and crashing at a Denny's for a while. Yeah, because I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't sleep. And it was a solo trip, my first solo trip. And I ended up just like, I got like 200 miles out, and it was about right when the sun was coming up, and I just couldn't hang, But yeah, that first push, and plus like when you're leaving your home area, your home base, those couple hours in the dark, you ain't missing shit.
No,
you're missing the shit you see every day or all the time at least. So once that sun comes up, you're now somewhere foreign where the sun's illuminating the path, and you can see shit that you want to see. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, if you're going west in Texas, you ain't missing shit anyway.
Depends on what you're used to, though.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But
my analogy was that when doing that, it was stealing time. That is exactly that is the way I could describe it. And
you can easily do 1,000 miles in a day if you leave about 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Because at 3 a.m. is a good sweet spot. 3, 4, 2 if you get a lot of sleep. And I'd say by 8, 9, 10 o'clock, depending on which direction you're going, like you could be pretty much at 1,000 miles.
Right.
And that's with stopping, every 100 miles for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, stopping for an hour or so for lunch. And then, of course, time zones. That's the other thing. Like when you go so the Campout, we're in the central time zone. So if you're coming east, if you live on the East Coast, like you get to enjoy that extra hour. Yeah. And I don't really know. I mean, I know that we've heard rumors of people coming from Cali to the Campout or at least from people out more west.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
But it's always been with the cats out there on that side is like they have everything there. They don't need to come here to ride.
Yeah.
But what they don't have is they don't have this experience with the people, like James was saying earlier. That's probably the thing that I think to broaden someone's horizon from the West Coast. Like you have all the riding in the world. Trust me, we're trying to go there every year to ride. But if you want to experience the country the way that we try to talk about in this podcast, then by you coming to the Campout, you're meeting people from the other side of the country more so that you can kind of now create friendships with and now have a reason to go even further than the Campout. Right. Now you might have homeboys in Pennsylvania or like Craig in Florida or, shit like that where you have a reason, or even if you're on that side of the country, like how many times has Craig been to your place as he's passing through as a truck driver?
2 or 3 now.
We've had cats, I've had dudes come into town for work or traveling or whatever. And they're like, hey, man, I'm in town. Let's have a beer. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Last time I saw him was at a Campout or some shit. You know what I mean? So those kind of things I think is what.
Well, that's the relationships you're talking about. That's the relationships you build. You meet people from all over the country. And hell, if you're going through their town, hit them up.
Absolutely.
If it's a time to crash, they might let you crash on their fucking couch.
Yeah. Or like if you're planning the trip and you're like, okay, we're going to New York, and you're like, fuck, who lives on the way? Oh, homeboy lives here. Let's go hang out with this dude.
Yeah.
We'll probably crash at his place or some shit, and then move about the country. So
right.
It's a great introduction. There's no doubt about it. And then you're able to grow on top of that. But at the same time, don't get it twisted. I understand Cali and a lot of places have good riding, but this fucking I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's like Wichita. It's one of those Indians' name, National Forest
Wichita?
in
not Wichita.
In Arkansas and Oklahoma. It's actually got some pretty gangster ass riding. So it's not something to turn your nose up on, and it's definitely something that if you want to come ride, you want to have a good time, and then also all these cool cats that you're meeting, if you want to buckle up and throw down on some fucking pretty badass roads, you're gonna get that too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think that's why this particular spot has a really great feel.
Yeah.
Because you're able to escape everything. You're able to get to the location. You're able to unplug from civilization and just do the basics of camping. But then at the same time, you're not extremely far from a town should you need to get to one. You're not extremely far from where we end up doing our ride. The ride that we end up doing, the ride days, it's probably about a 250 mile loop.
Yeah.
From
maybe 40 minutes to get to the start of the.
It's like 50 miles from where we camp to the base of the Talamina.
Talamina,
not
yeah.
far,
And then, you're hitting a couple states, and it's, I don't know, you're literally riding. So we rode up a mountain last year, right?
Yeah.
And you rode up one side of a mountain. The way that Tallahassee is set up is you ride basically to the peak of that particular area's mountain or hill, or I don't even know what you want to call it.
I think they're considered to be mountains, but
they
they're
are considered
very, very small.
It's not like fucking 12,000 foot elevation,
No,
whatever.
it's probably like 4,000 maybe.
But you ride the peaks essentially,
Probably not even that.
and you ride the ins and outs of that mountain for a pretty darn good distance.
I want to say it's 50
I don't know
miles.
how long from
it
end to
50?
end, from
To the
Tallahassee
start?
to Mina.
Oh, to the whole thing?
Like the start of Talamina to Mina, Arkansas, is it like 50 miles?
It probably is. That's what I'm saying.
50
It's a
miles,
good
probably.
distance. So it's not it's definitely nothing to turn your nose up at. That's the
No,
whole point.
it's-
So you're not only is it about the people, we don't want to just say that's all you're gonna meet. Come out here, you're gonna meet some motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But guess what? We also gonna do some motorcycle shit, and it's some good ass riding that goes right along with it.
And
for
like
sure.
the way we've been structuring that is like, so you got your Mark from Texas Performance, and you got your Steve Chamberlains, and the guys that
fast group.
think they can do it, they can keep up, and that's kind of cool that we've been able to kind of create that whole like push yourself deal. Yeah. And that's also another reason why I wanted to create that extra day, you know, because my thought was we all get set up Thursday, you know, decompress, have a good time, get loose, wake up Friday, go hit the Talamina. And then if somebody and then Saturday morning, if somebody wants to do that again, it's right there. Go do it again. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to push yourself a little bit harder on it this time, or whatever the case may be. The party's going to happen again that night. And the other thing about having that extra night for the party as well is that, like, what if you fuck up and you get drunk too quick?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, or what if
it's happened?
Yeah, it's happened.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm drunk at 4 p.m. Yeah. Let's go happen. I ain't gonna make it till 9.
You get a chance to kind of experience it again. You get a chance to, like, a do-over or a second try at because, I mean, fuck, like, I think Mark one night with Joe Kidd was up till like 6 a.m.
Oh, bro.
Sitting there around the campfire and shit.
It's fucking Dracula, dude. That motherfucker don't go to sleep.
Mark don't sleep.
I'll tell you what. That's what happens when drinking 16 bangs in a day. I don't drink liquor, but I'm stoked up on sugar.
I don't know, it just turns into something else. I think it turns into glucose for us. It just turns into protein for him.
That's how we go. That's how he rides so fast.
Yeah. He's all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
But no, it is perfect, and then at the same time too, it doesn't just have to be about the ride. There's we've actually experienced dining options on both ends of the deal.
Yeah,
there's a cool, what was it called, Pam's Dirty Diner or something like
Hateful
that.
Hussy.
Yeah,
is that what's called?
That was in Talahina.
Yeah,
and then on the
other
end,
side, the steakhouse was good as fuck.
Yeah, it was
good.
Yeah. You gonna look it up right now? It's called Branding Iron Steakhouse. I looked that shit up.
In Mena, Arkansas.
Yeah. Or wait, Steakhouse and Barbecue. That's in Mena.
The other thing about Mena,
super good.
So Mena's the hub of where that movie with Tom Cruise
about
took
the
place.
cleanse.
Not the cleanse. It was the American Made, I think it's called. It's a really good Tom Cruise movie.
As of flying the drugs and shit in.
Yeah, like he was flying all the I think the Pablo Escobar's cocaine, I think it was.
That was in Mena?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He lived there.
Damn.
And that's a good ass movie if you guys haven't seen that
Let's
yet.
go to Tom Cruise's house and see it.
No, he don't live there.
He don't live there.
Yeah.
He was just in the movie.
But no, it was a good ass movie though.
You know, Mena's dry.
It is?
But they serve beer at that restaurant.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We got fucked one time coming back from we went to we went up through Beaver's Bend, Oklahoma, and went to do the Talamina, came back and was gonna stay around Mena. And we got to that town and it's like, we don't sell beer here. I'm like, well, fuck off. We're going to the next town. And the next town was Texarkana. It was like an hour and a half away. It's like, well, we're going back to Texas, boys.
That's what it was like when we stopped in that Indian reservation.
Sure
was. Like, hey, where you get beer at? And everybody looked at us like we were fucking assholes.
No.
You know we can't drink that.
You know, it's funny now that I put that together because they said you can the only town you go to is Mexican Hat.
Yeah.
And we went there the next day and it was like 40 fucking miles away. Like, it was a ways away.
Yeah.
Like, all right, yeah.
That's a lot of work to get some beer.
We ain't finna get beer.
And that was just that one little restaurant, right?
Yeah.
No, they had a gas station around the corner.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a cool little spot though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing about that whole area, that southeast Oklahoma is like, it's like mountain ridges and then valleys and ridges and valleys. Mm-hmm. And so like there's a lot of type of riding, because even like the rides that we take to come back, they're more, like they're not all like super technical. Some of them are kind of like, soft sweepers and shit.
That's my favorite road.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Talamina, but
it's technical.
The best part about it, it's like you really lock in when you ride that.
Yeah, you better be
But the way
attention.
back is kind of relaxing, and it is, but it's not like boring relaxing, right?
Yeah.
It's a really enjoyable. Like, I still remember that very first, the first official, when we all went out there two up, and we were riding back there, and we was swooping on the fucking ups and downs, and it was a good time. It was a good time, but it wasn't the road that you went there to like ride.
Yeah,
but it
just
works. It's
ones.
a good road to be mapped back.
Yeah,
it's a good road to be mapped back.
Well, also then we ended up climbing up that other little mountain or whatever, and it's got that graffiti wall and then all the little lookout points and shit like that.
Yeah, those they call them vistas, I think they are.
Yeah.
They're actually really cool.
Yeah,
and there's a significant amount of them, so it's not like you have to grind out 50 miles with
There's
no
plenty of
stop.
stops,
There's
yeah.
a bunch of stops that you can just take a breather or whatever, and every single one comes with a view. So that kicks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
'Cause I
see
couldn't-
that? Like on the way back, did you see that little? It's like before a bridge. There's like a little bridge, and there's a little bar on the right. We need to stop at that next
I
time.
hadn't seen it. No.
It's like a little shithole bar. Like there's somebody's house right here, and then there's a little shithole bar. Last time we passed by last year, there was like 10 bikes sitting out there.
I remember
But
that
it kind of sits off the
Is
road.
that Chuck's?
No, this is on the way back from Mina,
though. No,
right?
yeah.
So there,
that's what I'm saying.
I did see another motorcycle campground over there.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was like another motorcycle campground on closer to Mina on the I guess the south side of Talamina Parkway.
I don't know where exactly it is, but apparently Chuck's Classic Cycle is something to check out.
Yeah,
That-
they were all
that-
hanging out there last year.
Yeah, they went out there because they thought it was just like a repair shop because they've helped out a couple people while we're out there, but it's actually like a bar spot too. And apparently Chuck is a motherfucking character,
Yeah.
just living his best life.
I feel like this year we need to like step up the game, and we need to like put some shit on the table for some like cornhole championship.
Yeah, I'll do
shit.
it. I'll do it. I'll
You know?
fuck you up like being. Well, ain't nobody beat us yet.
Are we allowed to be on teams?
Well, I know I'm like the LeBron James of cornhole.
Well, I'm MJ.
Guess me and Cody gonna be on the team. We gonna beat up LeBron all day.
But no, I think it'd be cool as fuck to because he has a couple boards out there.
Yeah.
Like thinking about the camp out, like and like me and James, we've talked so much about like how do we make it more to have more shit going on, but not get to the point where it's a bike show and people setting up vendor spaces and that kind of thing, because I want shops to come, like I want brands and businesses to come, but I want them to come as them,
Not set
As
up
a
their
person.
shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
because doing all these podcasts and talking to all these different shops and these people, even though it's not always on the podcast, a lot of people, they lose their connection to motorcycling because it becomes such a job dealing with
business,
customers
yeah.
and that. And I'm like, look, dude, just this camp out, it kind of can reignite that for you. It can kind of show you why you got into bikes, why you fell in love with this, why you pursued a career in it. But just come out here. Like, yeah, if you want to come out here and you don't have to ride across country. If you want to trailer your shit, I will chill on the fucking comments for a while.
Doubt it.
You know what I mean? But, like, it's all in good fun, man. That's what this is supposed to be. Like, if we can't talk shit about each other, what? I don't want to live in that
Yeah,
world.
it may
you know
not
what I
be
mean?
your spot.
Some of you guys have never been bullied, and you can tell. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun. Like, I think it'd be cool to have people, like, other shops, other brands, bigger names, people that are just looking for that connection to motorcycles again and getting away from, like, our camp out's not necessarily something that's like a social status. You know what I mean? Like, you're not showing up, and I like to look at it as, like, when you jump on a bike, right, you're a banker, you work in the oil field, I wrench on bikes, or some say I can't, but I paint bikes, whatever the case may be. We're really different worlds in like our career paths, but motorcycles bring us together,
Big time.
right? Well, I feel like motorcycles can bring a lot of people to this camp out, and what could really be the difference between the camp out versus Sturgis or Daytona or Born Free is that it's about you when you get there.
Right.
The bikes get parked over there by your tent or out of the side, and then all of a sudden now you get to be around people, you know what I mean, and mingle and talk and shoot the shit and ask questions and
And get to know each other.
yeah, dude, have a good time. I know it sounds all fucking gay and care
No,
bears and shit.
I don't think so.
But
I don't think so because I think about all right. So as somebody who doesn't work in the industry,
Yeah.
right? I like to meet a person. I don't like to meet a corporation,
A brand,
or
yeah.
exactly right. So I want to meet a person. I wonder if the people behind the brand have that same aspiration.
Yeah.
Right. Does somebody that is behind this brand want to come out and not be known for once as their fucking brand?
yeah.
Like how great would that be? To me, it's liberating to meet someone that is just a guy.
Yeah.
Just another guy, just another chick, whatever. And oh, by the way, I do all this cool shit. Awesome. How cool would it be? I feel as though if I were to be man, I'm stressed out all the fucking time. I do nothing but deal with all this shit all the time, and this industry is dragging me down.
Yeah.
I feel as though if I want to, like you said, kind of touch back to the roots of why I got into the business to begin with, it's because the passion for motorcycling, everything that we do. How great would it be for that individual to come out and no longer have that brand on their chest? You know, instead, hello, my name is Tom over here because this is who the fuck I actually am.
Yeah.
They can just be their self and not have to worry about slinging shirts or
Exactly.
fucking hats or whatever the hell they.
Yeah, and I feel like,
selling.
you know, when you cut, like, so, I don't know. I mean, we haven't had a whole lot of businesses come to our camp other than, like, maybe Mark and stuff like that. But, I mean, if you were, say you were, for instance, like a Lucky Days or something and you showed up, you know, like, and you rode and you partied and you had a good time and you were a part of it, I would think that you'd have 100+ customers for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people would feel like, you know what, that's my homeboy.
Because you showed
Yeah.
the initiative to come out, hang out with people, not push your products on nobody, but you showed up and you showed the initiative to show up, and that's
you
way
absolutely
cooler.
would. I don't even think that that's a hypothetical. I think that is a real live example because although we haven't had a lot of businesses come out representing themselves, right? We definitely have had people that have come out that are either are in the industry or have gotten into the industry. And as a result, every single one of those people we have formed relationships with. And guess what? Because of those relationships and because of the time that we all spent together, you now have people that actually have a genuine vested interest in you and are actually interested in your product.
You and not your product.
Exactly.
You know, well, I mean, in your product as well.
You, yeah.
But
why are they interested in your product? Because of fucking you.
Well, I think that's another thing is like, you know, especially like in the age we live in right now, and another regurgitated thing that I say a lot on this podcast, but like the tribalism that goes on with brands and I'm guilty of it because I pick my team and I stick with them with everything I can, you know.
Oh yeah.
But you got to play to that, man. Like that's the way the world works. Like even though this isn't a Samsung TV, I'm one of those guys that like I want Samsung everything TV wise. You know, it's just that it was going to be another $20. I didn't want to spend it. But, you know, it's one of those deals. Like, I think that brands, you know, if you're, especially the ones that are saying they're about traveling and riding, you know, like, what better way? It's kind of like it takes you back to that whole Yellow Wolf thing, right? Seeing that dude jump on his bike and invite his fans to come ride with him to go do this stuff. I mean, it wasn't like they were, you know, I mean, they were hanging out with him, riding with him. But it kind of humanized, a celebrity in a sense.
Yep.
And I think that could be the same thing with brands of in this motorcycle culture. If you represent, you know, stunt riding or this or that, it's like if you really love bikes and, you know, not just our camp out, but you should probably go to some of the things that aren't necessarily going to be a financial benefit for you, but they're going to be a benefit for you as your psychological state in the motorcycle industry. Because I think that you can easily get in a really dark place dealing with social media, dealing with the ups and down waves of people loving your shit, people wanting to talk shit, people loving, hating, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just the way it is. And it's all about how people feel one day, you know? So you come out here and you're just so-and-so from so-and-so, you know, but you come out here, you rip, you have fun. You probably going to talk about yourself around the campfire a little bit because people are going to be interested in who you are and in that thing, you know what I mean? But you're giving so much of a closer like feeling or connection to people, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't know. I think that a lot of people need that shit too, man.
I agree. And
I can't tell you how many dudes like I've talked to on the podcast, like big names. They're just like they're super confident on the podcast, but then when the thing's off, they're like, man, like I don't like bikes anymore. This stuff is so stressful to me. I'm like, it's stressful because you just work it.
Get the fuck out of the shop.
Jump on your bike and go ride it, man.
Yeah.
It solves all your problems. Like, go ride it and get away from, like, a place where you feel like you have to be so-and-so.
Yeah.
You know? Because you know, as somebody that's not that huge but that has a little name in it, I understand. Like, to me, like, I've always used our bike nights and even the camp out. Like, I don't want to be Jace from the Fast Life Garage, you know, shaking babies and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I want to come out there and I want to drink
Sign your
beer.
baby's forehead.
I'm in autograph mode.
You want to be a guy.
I just want to be a guy on a bike hanging out with guys. I want to say some
Right.
shit I probably should regret.
Yeah.
But I want to know that I'm around a lot of like-minded bikers that are just here to have fun. They're not going to try to blackmail me with like, you remember when you were fucked up and you said like, fuck that dude and this dude? I'm like, yeah, I didn't mean it. I mean, I meant it, but I'm not allowed to mean it, you know?
Yeah, you meant it. Like, whatever. You got to say something as you, not as the brand. Like you have to. When you are conducting business, you have to separate the individual and the brand, right? That's how business works. So the fact that you're able to know. The fact that you're able to be in a safe space, that you don't have to be a brand ambassador, you can still represent your brand, but as fucking Jace Hudson, all you want, and nobody's gonna hold nothing against you on it. It's a really positive forum for that. You know, when you literally have a campsite set up the way that ours is, and we invite so many people in, and then everybody at the end of the night, no matter what they do, like, we all gather around the same campfire. Yeah. We all participate in the same group conversation. We hear things from people that you may or may not ever talk to that person again. But in that moment, you are living your life in that present moment. Mm-hmm. It gives you an opportunity to really have that connection. But the great part about the time that we're in right now is we can connect with that moment. Just like we're reaching back to California, that will forever be a trip for us that we will gather. But guess what? We're able to make additional connections through social media now. Yeah. So throughout that trip, we made connections with individuals. Those individuals are now part of our social media network. Yeah. Well, the same thing happens at the Campout, and I would say it happens kind of tenfold because
you put a face to a name too.
Yeah, and you're almost forced to do it in the fact that, like, when we traveled across the country, we were traveling so fast and we're getting things done that we did pick up on some relationships, and it was great, but it wasn't nearly as many as when you would stop and show up to a location and unplug for a few days. And these are the people that I just spent my last 72 hours with, you know what I mean? Right. And that's how you really are able to say, damn, like, this guy, this gal, everybody that is into the same shit that I'm into, and they put forth the same effort that I just put forth, I want to connect with them. Yeah. And if you add to that, if you happen to be a business, that's customers. That's customers, that's money. And then you have motherfuckers that are doing the same shit. And then you made the effort to come out to the Campout, so those people make the effort to come out to your next event or whatever it is a perpetual circle, and what that circle is motorcycles, and that's what we are all doing.
Keeping all this shit small too. I mean,
hell yeah.
I think I've told you about a lot of companies that wanted to sponsor the event, which I think in the future, we'll discuss how this camp out. We'll sit down, and discuss like where it is and if we think we can take it to another level. But trying to keep it always as grassroots as possible. And even if we ever did take a sponsor, it would probably be something just to get money for them to provide something else for the actual event.
Beer.
Maybe beer. Like, we can get like a Corona sponsor. That's fucking compressor again. But so that's kind of thing is like, and that's the other thing about this is that, like, we don't take any money for doing this. Like, we don't make anything. No, that's when we first started it. I won't lie. About it. We thought about, we can make some money doing this, but after seeing what it was, and it almost felt like I deserve just to experience it. Like, I deserve to be, if I want to be treated and I want to be just like everybody else at this place, and I have to do what everybody else is doing. Right. We paid our own dues to camp. Yep. We do all that stuff. We're not getting a back end cut. It's just literally like, we show up, we get in there, we pay our dues to camp. We go find a spot. Me and my wife didn't get the fucking, the new tree house that got built out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing, like, it literally is just the most grassroots thing, I think, on the table. And that's why I thought about doing T-shirts this year, but it's like, man, like, I don't have time to do that shit, and I don't want to be there working. I want to be there fucked up trying to beat people's ass in cornhole. You know what I mean?
Well, the experience is the reward. It really is. And actually, You know, when we talk about like we don't get the money, I'm good with that because you know who does? Sandoval.
Yeah.
And he has put in time and effort into the,
Making the campground
into the
better.
industry just like
he keeps putting back
just
into
like
it
we
since.
are. And to be able to bring that full circle and put back into his space, like that is what we are trying to do, right? We're trying to promote positivity. We're trying to make this actually be beneficial for all.
Yeah.
And all includes his ass. So if we can bring a gang of motherfuckers up there and give him a bunch of money and support what he's put money into and have this camp out be everything that it's supposed to be and have it be at a place that is geared towards motorcycles, then everybody wins all around, including the space. It's not a fucking KOA corporation, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a man that we know that we can actually put a name on who, guess what, might come down to the motherfucking Campout and
parties
hang
with
out
us.
and get fucked up with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's like
Yeah.
it's not nameless. Every aspect of this event you can put a face on and you can put a name on and you can shake that hand. And that, to me, especially in today's day and age,
Yeah.
goes a long fucking way because you just don't find that. You're so detached from everything. You're how many levels detached from ownership, or how many levels like if you can go to the owner and the organization, or the organizers, I should say, and I don't know, all of them all in the same 5 feet, like that's, come on. Like that is what we all, I think, kind of seek in today's world.
Thought you were going to say something.
I was, but I forgot.
That's a mic drop.
Well, you guys think I'm going to go piss real quick.
Oh,
so
that's
you
a
guys
go.
think.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord,
shit.
that I was about to do that same thing. So go on.
Rotate.
Live, so-
Listen,
Rotate. I know.
listen.
It's
So
live.
one
Someone's fucking
of
jerky,
one of
bro.
these notes that I've made, Cody. So you gonna be the one that's gonna answer it because So one of the things that I think about when I go to the camp out, or if I go to anything, but camp out primarily, is what what was the motivation for you initially to come to like the first camp out? Because I see more people coming, but I don't really see that slowing down. Like that, there's definitely momentum behind this, right?
Oh, it's growing every year.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So for you, like with the first one, I know. Okay, so I'll speak on it for myself real quick. So my motivation was that basically I wanted to get into something that allowed me to participate in something that was greater than myself and leave home and not come back for a few days. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Just really disappear and unplug.
Yeah.
Right. And that has grown into more people. It's grown into, quite a bit. But I'm super interested to see that somebody who comes from a couple 100 miles away versus maybe 1,000 or 1,500 miles away.
Right.
Everybody's going to have a little bit different motivation. So I'm interested to see what that is for different people.
Well, my motivation was just strictly, pretty much just wanting to get out and ride, first off, and then wanting to meet new people that maybe eventually I could go on rides with, and it fucking happened, and Jace just shit.
You heard it.
But no, yeah, I mean, it's just, so I'm from a small town, and I have a handful of buddies that ride, and it's very unlikely that we just get to jump on bikes and take trips.
Yeah.
So for me, going to the camp out, it was an opportunity for me to meet people that I knew if they're going to the fucking camp out, they'd like to ride, obviously. So hopefully it was an opportunity for me to meet new people and future opportunities to go on trips or go I mean, look what happened. We went cross country. We've been on several trips now together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people from my hometown don't get a lot of time off, so it's
What would you initially say?
So the question essentially was everybody, regardless of where you're coming from, right? You're going to have a motivation for why you decided to do something like this.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, for me, it was really just to to escape kind of the reality of everyday life and to just go somewhere and not come home for a few days and generate kind of the network of people that we've ultimately ended up doing. And similar for Cody, but what would you think about for yourself even? And you even have you have your own life to think about, obviously, but then you tie in the fact that you have a corporation behind you or your business behind you.
Yeah.
There's an added element.
Fortunately, like my business, with paint and those type of things is like I have enough of those opportunities to where I don't necessarily have to go to the Campout or Sturgis or any of those things to solicit that.
Right.
I get to go as an enthusiast for the most part and just have a good time and experience it. And for the Campout, man, like realistically for me, and one of the, I really don't know. I feel like we first started doing the podcast back in 2018. Like we were really heavy on talking about like how camping and all this stuff was. And I think that, it just kind of, it was like a heavy topic of conversation for a long time. And we kind of got off of it for a while. But when I first went to the first Giddy Up, man, and just that experience, we wasn't super far from Dallas, like 200 miles maybe. Just camping, the fire, the conversations that took place around the fire, the mornings, the nights, it just was. It's like you never checked out of the event. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like you were constantly there, and I used to use this analogy. Starting to slur my words. A lot. I'm gonna start speaking clearer. A lot, to where when you would be on a trip, and when we used to do it before on the first couple of trips that I did to Cali, we would go to hotels, and then we'd get to the hotel and we'd shack up with the group that we're staying with, and the night's over. Hotel bar closes at 10.
There's no more hanging out.
Yeah, the night's kind of done, and sometimes it's in a small town and the Chili's don't stay open till 2. You know what I mean? It closes at 10:30.
In their door and it's a wrap.
Yeah, so it's it just kind of made it to where when we started doing this camp out, it was like you're on the trip, on the bike trip, but it never really ended until you got back home.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's very true. Yeah.
And so for me, like, I can't say I never camped before, but when I went to the first Giddy Up, that was the first time I camped really in my adulthood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was just addicted, man. I literally in 2018 from, I think it was March for the entire rest of the year except for December. So March through November, I camped somewhere at some point in time every month. Mm-hmm. And it was a blast each time, And so, like I said, it was just one of those things. So when I think it was also, I brought it up to the guys like you and all the guys at the bike nights when we started doing all that stuff. And it was like I was trying to get everybody like, dude, like camping's the shit. I was on that wavelength still. Right. And I still am. And when we did that first time, it was like, fuck, this could be fun. We could do an event. And I won't lie, like when we first started talking about the event, it was kind of like, fuck, man, like we could put some effort in this and we can maybe turn a coin off of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't until after that first event that we were like, we're going to like go ask the dude for our $60 and cut. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, that's really what it comes down to too. Like the amount of probably, we talk about Sandoval gets these dues on there. I mean, what are camping rates, like $15 a night or some shit like that? Like it's nothing crazy, but guess what? It'll tally up for him, and that's great because then it'll be able to continue to improve the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be able to take a cut of 15, it just ain't worth it long term. So to be able to make the event what it is,
when realistically, once we take the cut and then we split it up between all of us that were involved in creating it, then what are we going to do with it?
Buy like a case of beer?
Yeah, it's like dude, fucking keep the money, put it towards the campground, make it a better place for us to come next time,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun thing. It's like, but realistically, like, I mean, think about it. Like, think about, I don't know the amount of change that's taken place to each person that's come, but you got RD in Phoenix.
Yeah, big sexy.
He came to the Campout. He got inspired to go to MMI and do all that shit.
Changed his life.
You got, like I said, once again, Steve Chamberlain came down. He decided to go home and start creating his own events. Got Craig out there. He's trying to make Florida a place.
Dude,
I mean, it's a place.
He's
but,
trying.
You know,
He's trying.
and then
Motherfucker
Cody,
might have changed his truck route coming up through here on some frequency now.
yeah.
He comes through here a lot now, don't he?
Yeah, I was like joking around about that. I was like, the first time it was like, fuck, man, hell yeah.
Hey, good to see you.
Craig's here. And then like 2 weeks later, he's here again.
He's
I'm like,
back.
okay, it ain't
Craig's
the same.
back.
Hey, bro.
It was special that you were just happened to be coming through, and now you're here all the time. So
Shit.
it's like cool,
We got fucking trash one night back at our house.
dude. We got. Let me tell you, the last time he came here was like 4 weeks ago or something like that, and he came. I picked him up. We were just drinking beer in my backyard, and we got a little campfire going. And I just cleaned the beer cans up yesterday because we got, now that it's starting to get spring, we got to
Yeah.
get the lawn guy back and shit because I don't cut my own yard. You know what I mean?
Oh, you fancy.
I do not. There are people who do it so cheap. So, and I went out there and I was like picking up beer cans. I'm like, fuck, there's like full beers out there still in the grass. It's all grown over and shit. So, but no, it's it's just fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, that dude, Craig, he said that he found out about us from the first camp out when Adam Sandoval had us on the first camp outs. His
His
YouTube
little video he shot. Yeah.
So he was following Adam Sandoval.
Yeah.
Then he rode up here to the camp out, and then he's one of the close homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's cool, dude. Yeah, he came down. We hit a couple bars and shit. We went back to our place and playing cards with the neighbors and drinking games and shit. We got fucked up. I couldn't even wake up the next morning and take him to his truck. He had to call Uber. It was a good time.
It's how you've already been to Sturgis before, so how you feeling about this trip?
Oh, I'm fucking excited to ride there, actually. So I think this one's going to be – it's going to be good because we did the full 12 days there last time, and I think that's a little extravagant, yeah. So this time, especially with a group of people and the agenda we have, just hitting a couple of the best riding spots around there, hitting the shows, and then just being able to, hang out and party at night. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I was asking him about, like, his take on Sturgis, and you haven't been to Sturgis yet, James.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm actually looking forward to, like, it's crazy. Like I said earlier, I've been earlier in my riding career, if you will. I've been very lone wolf, right?
Yeah.
I just hadn't found that group. I'd always struggled because, like, I rode with a whole bunch of motherfuckers, but there was always 20, 30 fucking years older than me, you know what I mean? So it was cool when you was on the fucking bike, but when you got off, it's like, well, sorry, can't talk about World War II because I don't know that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was tough for me. So I never made the effort, even though it was only 600 miles away from Minneapolis, to roll over to Sturgis.
Yeah, so nice.
But now but now I'm gonna go twice as long
Yeah.
with the guys that I want to go with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a really enjoyable experience, I think, just to be able to do that for the first time and do it with a bunch of people who are gonna be doing it for the first time. And then we add an element to it. Like last year, we did our whole trip with just us boys and everything. And now we're going to have the ladies come up too next year, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's
going to be really good. I think we're going to have a really nice time. And like I was telling Cody earlier, Sturgis is going to be fun because there's going to be so many people that are into motorcycles, just like we are.
Yeah.
But I bet. I would put money on the fact that the most enjoyable aspect of Sturgis is going to be all of us.
It's going to be the party
and all the
when
people
we're
that
together,
all the people that the same thing that the Campout is. All the people that are coming in from all these different parts of the country
meeting
that
up
we've
with.
established a network with, that we're going to be able to see because of this centralized location.
Yeah.
And we're going to be like, all right,
I feel like
what's
we
up?
should put it out there where we're going to camp at. That way people can come get in our campground.
Should we?
Fuck, throw it out there.
I don't know.
I don't know.
See, we did when we went in 18. See, we did the buffalo chip deal. We stayed buffalo chip, but every day. I mean, we went out riding every day. We put over 1,000 miles in Sturgis, and we went to Devil's Tower one day. You know, we did Spearfish Canyon, you know, Deadwood. We did Mount Rushmore, all that. Keystone. We went to the Badlands one day. You know, we did a lot of riding all day.
Spread out. So
all day.
Yeah.
So then we would just come back to the campground at night, and of course there's fucking crazy concerts going on, and we would just come back to the campground at night and party. And that was like what the fuck we did. So I'm curious to see another aspect of it. I mean, I know it's going to be kind of the same thing, but I don't care too much about the concerts and all that. I'd rather be.
I don't think most people that are under 40 do.
Yeah. I'd rather be around a close knit group of friends.
Hey, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Believe me, I understand the allure of
of
what it is for the people that they like grew up with it, because I think there comes a point where everybody will they kind of stop adding to their music repertoire, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I grew up to this date, and anything before that I fuck with.
Yeah.
Anything after that, fuck y'all. Like
I
don't do it.
I will say Kid Rock put on a badass concert, but that was it.
I have
brought
heard
out
that
the inner
he's
white trash.
actually
The
really-
other ones can fuck off.
heard he's really good live. So
We've
I
seen the
believe-
makeup Leonard Skinner, not the original.
Yeah, like it's like watching the new Alice in Chains. Like I want to see that bullshit.
Yeah, right.
My girl been telling me like some of these bands they're touring and stuff. I'm like, you want to go see that? You're like 35 years too late. Like
Yeah.
they ain't.
It's
in
not
no
even the
more.
original no
They're
more.
Still on tour.
About the only original you can see anymore is fucking ZZ Top. They're like 80.
Yeah, still killing it.
Oh no.
But no, the way we have Sturgis planned this year is with, so like we're gonna go to Sturgis, we're gonna ride there, we're gonna camp, do the riding, the shows, and then we're like half of us are gonna go back home, and then the other half of us are gonna continue to go west.
Don't break out.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that because
Right.
I've never really gone, you know, like for sure we're doing Montana, you know, a lot of Wyoming,
Idaho.
I had an offer from a homie to go stay. He said that he lives in Idaho, and he hit me up and he goes, dude, you guys want to come here? He sent me a picture of his backyard. I think he did, but if he didn't, I looked at like his area. It's fucking sick.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, if you want to come here, but it's
How far into
up
Idaho
there.
is it?
Way.
It's in Idaho, but the little part at the top.
Oh shit! See, I got a buddy.
It's
I got a
fucking
buddy
Washington.
in northern Montana.
Yeah.
It's probably like 2 hours north of Yellowstone though.
Dude, Montana's like
So it's kind of out of the
just as
way.
big as
Yeah, so
Texas.
I was trying to look at how we could pull it off if we were to take him up on his offer, because at that point,
Yeah.
honestly, it would be like he's right in between Montana and then Washington. It would be so easy just for the sake
Oh,
of
shit,
coloring
just to
the
dip
little,
into Washington?
just to dip into Washington and say I've ridden in Washington,
Well,
drop
then
down to
you
Oregon.
just got to go south and dip into Oregon.
Yeah, exactly, and then the whole Northeast would be covered as far as ridden.
That's true.
Washington, where that Corona at right now.
It is. I'd be gone by then.
Not the east side, bro. It's got to be
Dude,
like
Bud Light's gonna
Seattle.
fuck them up. But then I don't know. I follow like these different pages on like Instagram, and a lot of them are like travel, nature shit
Yeah.
and stuff. And I really want to go ride around Crater Lake in Oregon. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's fucking crazy. It's like the deepest water in America, at least.
Really?
It's like almost 2,000 feet deep.
God damn.
It's ridiculous.
I would love to. Believe me, I would love to. I just feel that because I want to fuck with the Pacific Northwest so bad.
Yeah.
So I would hate. I feel like I would be doing a disservice to the Northwest.
I agree.
To dip my fucking toes in it,
But I
and then
don't-
peace out.
Yeah.
I would. Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
It's
How do you pull it off though? Because I mean, like we're having a meeting tomorrow.
Eagle Rider, bro.
Eagle Rider.
We're finna Eagle Rider that shit up.
So I mean, technically, we have the reason why James, you're here and you got to dip out, but like
Yeah.
we're having a big meeting here tomorrow with all the guys going to not Cali, fucking Sturgis.
yeah.
Oh, last year. And we're sitting here gonna talk about because there was just so many things that we didn't like set in stone.
Correct.
For the trip. And so technically after Sturgis, like there's still a lot of shit up in the air. You know what I mean? Like we can
make it whatever we want.
I mean, technically we could. I mean, and I guess where it really comes down to play is, you know, because I know, James, you had mentioned, like, you know what, like I'll make it a 16-day trip or a 17-day trip if I have to. And when you're talking about that, then it does kind of make sense that maybe we could go that far.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would just have to be a commitment from the rest of us, which I think there's only like 4 of us or 5 of us going on the extended part of the trip.
It's going to be 6 plus,
5 or
I think.
6.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's all going?
It
Me,
depends.
us 3.
Where was it?
Jacob, Larry. Is Kyle for sure?
Us 3, Kyle.
Kyle's for
Jacob,
sure.
Larry.
So that's 6.
Yeah. So, but then there's a couple that are on the fence and all that. That's the whole thing. We gotta. I mean, this is not the type of thing that you can fucking be on the fence on.
Well, that's why I'm also hoping that, like, I want to bring it up, be like, this is an option. We could look at the possibility of turning it into a Northwest trip, but that would just mean, because I think when we did the first little sit down for the Sturgis trip, I got a little disinterested after we left Colorado. You know, and we still had like 2 days, and we were like dropping deep into New Mexico and Ruidoso and shit like that. And I was like, man, I feel like that shit's too close to waste on a trip like this, in my opinion. I would rather spend those 2 days.
Yeah, we could do Ruidoso on a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, not even that. We could leave Friday.
3-day weekend.
Yeah. So my thing is, like, maybe we could look at this with everybody sitting on the table in time, and maybe we could pull it off to where we could go to, you know, Washington and really see at least Washington and Oregon, and then start moving our way back and not worry so much about Northern California.
Might.
Right.
You know?
Might. Put it this way. The fact that we have the ability to have this debate and conversation is a fucking blessing.
Are you flexing on people right now?
No.
We got the best friends.
No, I'm saying, but
3 best friends.
We talked about it at the end of our
Cheers,
Cali
bitches.
trip, right? It is one of those things that so many motherfuckers are, maybe they're scared to do, or they're not in a position to do it, or they just never get around to do it, or whatever it is. Doing this shit changes lives.
Yeah.
So, might not change anybody's lives outside of us, but it might change 7 guys' lives.
Yeah.
You know, and
What
that's
about the black
love
dude
being a
that we
part of
met
that
at the
stuff.
Salt
I do.
Flats that was taking his
Oh, the-
70-year-old dad to California
Yeah.
because he's always wanted to go.
Yeah,
He
that's
waited
really
till he was 70 years old to do that. Some people never get to do that.
I love being a part of that stuff.
I mean,
I
50-year-old
think it's
dudes
so
that
cool.
just wanted to ride to California and never got to do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I just feel like when you look back on your life and you remember a handful of things, if I can be a part of one of those things or a couple that, you know what I'm saying, like, that's a great deal. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
If I've made that kind of impact on somebody's life, to be able to help produce one of your lifelong memories, fucking
Like, how crazy would
check
it be?
mark.
Like, what if for some reason, like, we all, you know, just went different directions in our life, but then, like, we're all 60 and we're all still kind of, you know, able to ride, or 60 or 70. We all reach out to each other on the arm book or whatever the fuck's the new thing. You know what I mean? And we
Lasers.
lasers on their freaking heads. And we
Fucking laser beam on it?
and we just like make a trip, and like we haven't hung out in years, and you know, we just did another trip across country. Like, as a, you know, I bring this up a lot in the podcast, but man, when me and Jesse went to Sturgis and we camped next to these old dudes, man, they used to work together and they all got bikes, but then they ended up moving away from each other, so they didn't work in the same job anymore. But like, the old dude was like 70 years old, and he was on an FXR and I was on my FXR, so that's how we started talking. And these fucking old fucks came to the goddamn campground and drank me and my brother under the table.
Yeah, old people don't fuck around.
Yeah, they
That's one of the reasons why I got to get back tomorrow, is because I have a good friend's birthday, and
Yeah.
he's turning 70 tomorrow. And he's a good friend of mine. They went to the Dominican with us, and this motherfucker will drink
He fucks.
all day with you. Yeah, Todd fucks.
Todd. Is it the Todd from
No.
No, it's not that Todd. No. But no. So think about how crazy it would be like if we all ended up like we lost touch, but then the arm book comes out. And we're like, oh shit, I remember that dude. You know what I mean? And then we all ended up linking up and like planning a trip together. And did Sturgis like one last time. Like
shit, that'd be dope.
I think it'd be cool as shit. Like those kind of things. Not that like we should stop being friends for the next 20
let's
years.
not quit hanging out.
Why are you trying to do that? No, I've thought about things like that. And I don't know. I tend to think about like dynamics or demographics and things like just of people, groups, that type of thing. And like our friend group, for example, we have quite a fucking diverse group of people that honestly, like in societal terms,
Would never.
we have no fucking business
Yeah.
being together, right?
Yeah.
But what brought us together, right? Motorcycles brought us together. The common interest in motorcycles. And as fucked up as we all are and how much I would never speak to some of these motherfuckers otherwise. But they're like my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
You
know
are
what I'm
beneath
saying?
me.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with motorcycles. And it has everything to do with what we all want out of life. And that to me is the power of what we're doing. I mean, it's kind of like the power of sport. You know how I had that analogy earlier. People come from all these different fucking dynamics and demographics, but then you come together for this one thing.
Yeah.
And it just solidifies you like nothing. And this is the same shit.
Yeah.
It is really the same shit, and it makes me appreciate so many different aspects of life that I otherwise would not be exposed to, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because I don't want to be with the same bland ass white bread motherfuckers that I just don't like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
Well, you don't want to be with people that start
more.
going to show you something different in life. I
Yeah.
mean, that's probably one of the most. I wouldn't say boring because I know that we've all got our friends that we've known since high school and things like that. But it's almost like one of the guys in the group has to reach out and find new friends to bring some new fucking flavor to the friendship, right?
Get some blood. Get some blood.
Otherwise, like you'll be doing the same shit for your whole life. You'll be going to the same Applebee's bar.
Exactly.
You'll be doing the same things.
Staying in the same shithole town, going the
Yeah.
same bullshit.
And all of a sudden, like you start meeting people, you start putting yourself out there in a different way. You start traveling a little bit. You start getting over that uncomfortableness of like being the one that doesn't know anybody to walk up to a group of guys and be like, "Hey," you know what I mean?
Hey guys,
Hey.
will you be my friend?
It's super true, I really like that aspect of what we all do. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it could only get larger.
Yeah.
There's
I think-
so many more opportunities to meet people that we didn't grow up the same way, or we don't exist the same way today, or whatever it is. But guess what? We still fucks on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same shit. We want the same things out of life, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
I agree.
I think as awkward as it seems from the outside of showing up to an event or going up to a group of people that you don't know,
Yeah.
but you have a common interest with, I don't think it's as bad as it seems,
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I mean,
not-
it for definitely for a lot of us, but I think for some people it is like, a really big step out of their comfort zone.
I guess. But I've always been an outgoing person. So like
Yeah.
I'll talk to anybody, If we have a fucking interest in something, I'll talk to you about it, or whatever. But I can see where some people are kind of shy or
Yeah.
whatever. They won't just jump out there and be like, "Hey guys, what y'all doing tonight?"
Sometimes it just takes one though.
Yeah.
Because it just took you, and then like I said, that next time you brought 7 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with multiple people. It just took Trent, for example,
Yeah.
and then 4 or 5 people from his corner of town then came to the next thing.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. So then you befriend those people. And that stuff is great because that is just strengthening the network of people that we know exists, right? It's such a small amount of us that actually do motorcycling to begin with, especially in our similar age demographic, that type of thing. So it's not that the sheer number of motorcycling is small, which in relation to the population it is.
Yeah.
But when you shrink down the number of motorcyclers to then the number of motorcyclers that may be into the same type of thing that you are, a similar age, that type of when you're doing the same stuff,
Yeah. Then
you really start tightening that loop, and that loop becomes fucking a knot, and it's firm, and it's really just something that we can't even mess with any longer because of how strong we've grown it over the last few years.
Yeah.
And that to me is one of the most impressive things that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's really nice to have some people, especially for me, like people that I can bounce ideas off of, and like I said, that's how this Campout started. I'm bouncing ideas off of you and the other guys in our little faction, if you will.
That's right.
And it was created, and it was and it's so much easier to kind of build ideas when you have a group of people. I guess a lot of people, we call it the Fast Life Campout. Like, we made that decision to do that based on the fact that more people follow the Fast Life Garage, so it's easier to call it that and get people to come experience this shit versus
it's more exposure.
Like the James, Jace, and Trent fucking show. You know what I mean? Like Campout. It's like you kind of
it doesn't make any sense.
kind of do a little clickbait there. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But realistically, the Campout is it's everybody's. It's been doing it since, you know what I mean? It's everybody's just doing it every year they do it. So like, if a lot of you guys listening come this year, it's yours now. You know what I mean? Next year, it's like, hey, you want to come to our Campout?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. That's what you should say. You know what I mean? And,
promote it yourself.
like it's, because you're not. I guess I benefit in a way that my name is, or my shop's name is getting bigger, but like I can only paint 40 helmets a year, so and I'm already booked out this year.
Booked.
So like,
but we're good with that. That's the other thing too. Like you said, where this started was just a handful of us talking about it and actually going through the process of actually making it happen and putting it together. Right?
Yeah.
It's not about, like we've spoken about earlier, it's not about the profit. Nobody's getting anything that way. So if we need to slap a brand recognition item on there, we'll do so, but for the purpose of everyone experience the same thing that we are looking to experience.
Yeah.
For no other purpose other than that.
But dude, the way it's growing, I don't think you would ever have to do that. Because it's growing every year. It's growing.
Yeah.
I think last year it doubled what the first year was.
Oh, for
I
sure.
agree with that. And
like I said, we had a huge rain scare the first year.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, like I said, I think we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, like, I really hope people don't get scared of weather because for the most part, you're going to catch some kind of weather somewhere.
If you're
you know what I
traveling,
mean?
yeah.
It's in April.
It was the spring, yeah.
So you're going to catch it somewhere, but just push through it. It's not going to, you don't let one day of the riding or one day anywhere determine the way this thing could be. You know what I mean? Steve Chamberlain's first camp out got completely rained out. He tells me stories of them partying in a shed,
underneath the pavilion.
underneath the pavilion, and I mean that's what it's about. It's like you adapt and overcome in the situations, and that's what you do on a bike trip. Like we had to do on our trip, we had to revert because there was a storm.
Yeah.
We had that option.
We still hit rain a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good one on the way back to Texas.
Shit.
Thought we were going to die in a tornado and shit.
Got my rain gear.
And that one before we hit the Harley shop in Colorado, too. We got pissed on pretty hard there.
Oh, yeah.
Pueblo?
I forgot
Pueblo
that. Yeah,
there?
that's when we were getting blasted
shit
by
hurt.
wind all day. Yeah. But, I mean, those things happen, man. That's part of, like, the experience of riding across country is dealing with the elements and the shit that's going to come out. You know what I mean? So, if anything, like, this is the kindergarten step into riding cross country.
Yeah.
Get out there. Like, even if you're a solo dude, like, I know how nerve-wracking it could be to jump on a bike and be like, okay, I'm about to ride this bike across three states and go hang out with people I've never met before. Sounds like a bad idea. Sounds like some like shitty Tinder date kind of thing. You know what I mean? But realistically, like all of us are gonna be stoked. Like probably even more. Like fuck, dude, you rode here by yourself. Like that's gonna be like the thing that's gonna make you.
Yeah, that's gonna make you stand out.
Yeah,
for sure.
like you're gonna be the dude. Like fuck, dude, come here, man. Let me
This
get you a beer.
motherfucker, yeah,
oh,
this
you don't
dude.
drink? You do tonight, motherfucker. Hold your mouth open. You know what I mean?
I love it. You know what? You made two really great points there, and I just want to re-emphasize exactly. So this Campout is probably the best type of entry-level experience you might be able to have. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because if you were to do something like this as opposed to fucking rolling into Sturgis, you're talking about 50, 75 people versus 250,000 people. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather just be a number and completely get lost and completely be depressed and you have no existence ever? Or you come and you might make a couple friends and you might have a couple people that actually express interest in you and you actually find yourself involved in a circle, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then the second thing that I thought was really cool. So say you're that guy, or say you're any one of these people who come, and you said that, you know, you come and you kind of make it your own, and then you express to others what this is for yourself. And I think that is so true. I've seen that extend out to even like the girls, to their point that they're talking about to their other girlfriends, like, y'all should come out. This would be a good
Yeah,
time.
we definitely need other girls.
Bring the bitches.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's cool. I think that's so cool because that is showing that it's not just 5 guys camp out. Come hang out with these 5 guys. You know what I'm saying? It is expansive and it's growing. And quite honestly, the feedback and the interest that we are already seeing, this camp out, the third camp out in 2020, is proving to be the biggest and best yet. And I don't see that slowing down, quite honestly, because clearly the word is on the fucking street that people want to come and this is a good time and there's a lot of momentum behind it. It's not any other show. It is super grassroots and you are going to have nothing but a good time.
Yeah.
So if you're down for that shit,
Spot to be.
this is about to be your shit right here.
And for all you Instagram bikers, maybe we could put like a little wall up so you can take pictures of your bike that says hashtag I was there. You know what I mean?
We absolutely would not do that shit.
I have to like give some shout outs and get Adam Sandoval out there to do like a video with all these nerds.
If y'all do that, you going in the K River.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You know, like I've heard a lot of people so far because you know we did the one initial post that you had did the you did a little edit on the photo, and I was like, hey, you know, tag people where are you coming from, you know, and a lot of people were tagging, I'm coming from Pennsylvania, I'm coming from here, there, and then you know, you also I got a lot of people that were like in DM saying like, oh man, you know, I got to work this weekend, and I'm like, well, that's kind of why we put it out here now,
months in advance,
and I guess. That's what I'm saying. Like that's one of the things I try to, you know, accurately, or I wouldn't say accurately, but I like to know how to say it the correct way where I'm like, look, man, like if you should want to take some of your personal time to go experience something like this. Yeah. You know?
What else you fucking taking off for?
Yeah, you're going to go to fucking Miami and pop bottles, you fucking nerd. Nobody does that anymore.
You go to a family reunion in the middle of fucking Iowa. Go hang out with grandma and grandma.
You gotta do what the fuck your wife says?
Yeah,
What a queer.
What a nerd, dude. Fucking get a dick, dude. Yeah, so that's kind of like the one of the things.
But bring the bitches.
Yeah. That's the only thing I feel bad about is like, you know, it's because it's like all about male bonding and shit.
100%.
It's not. It
sounds gay as fuck.
It's not all about that, but it's really hard to like. I mean, I'm fucking married, dude. Like, I don't know how to. I can't go up to a strip club and be like, "Hey, you girls want to have fun this weekend? We got some cocaine or some shit." You know, like
how much you paying?
Yeah, I can't do that. And then you know how the fucking women would be if like a whole bunch of like bimbo chicks would be up there.
They freak the fuck out.
But like if
they gonna turn up.
But if like girls that ride want to come, cool. There's gonna be dudes there that are single, and maybe you're single, and maybe y'all. I don't fucking know, like. Fuck.
Dude.
Scissor, whatever the fuck y'all do.
Yeah, scissor.
The fuck? But now we have an excess amount of chicks that we got dykes there too? Or what? Oh, shit. Ah!
Well, the leaders might show up, so.
The sandwich makers MC.
They're going to hate me. Fortunately, only 8% women live. 92% of my listeners are men and 8% are women.
Really?
I think the 8% is just like the wives and girlfriends of the guys that are on the podcast.
Right.
Fucking Britta and Ashley.
Yeah.
My wife does not listen to this. She's probably watching the Facebook
I
deal.
must say, I hope Ashley ain't watching
Is
this.
she?
Go to bed.
I'll text you later. But no, I don't.
Send me a nude.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to. I guess if you were to make it one of those kind of events, like where there was all that kind of appeal, then you'd probably get like a shit ton of chicks coming out and wanting to, do that kind of stuff too. Or if there was some kind of like video made of it, like you get the whole like
exposure.
all the chopper chicks want to come out and be exposed.
Dump them out.
I mean, they don't dump them out, dude.
No, they don't.
Dude, it's really interesting to see how that dynamic of motorcycling has changed. Like growing up, I don't know what it was. Just through movies, magazine, television, everything.
Easy Rush.
It's like, yo, any dude on a motorcycle is a fucking badass.
Yeah.
And all these women are just loose as gooses. Like they're just out there. You know what I mean? Like
Riding with their shirts off and shit.
just living that life. Like I watched like old like Woodstock videos or whatever. Like they were just living that peace, love, and that whole movement, right?
It's called drugs.
That shit dried the fuck up.
Yeah.
Now
girls,
we got like the fake stuff on the internet, and then when you actually see people in real life, they're just regular and covered and not what they portray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
know what
funny,
I mean?
like in person, like you're super conservative, but online,
100%.
I've seen everything.
You a hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do y'all follow the Scooter Tramp Scotty dude?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you haven't seen this YouTube video, I just watched it the other day. He does it a few times, but the one I watched, he literally sat there and flipped through old Polaroid photos, like physical, like photos that he's taken. Cause you know who this guy is?
That he's been. So do
So do you know who Scooter Tramp Scotty is?
Yeah, I remember you told me.
So
about
he's
him
been
once.
riding on his bike. He's lived on his bike
like years, right?
since '94.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
30 years.
So
almost 30
you're talking
years.
about small
All right,
living.
brother.
This dude is fucking small living, right?
Yeah, he's doing it.
And we actually talked to him a couple of times about coming on the podcast, and it's just like catching this motherfucker while he's like doing his freedom shit.
Yeah.
And but he did this video, man, and like I'm working. I usually watch the TV while I'm working, but then he did this video, and I'm just like, fuck, man, like, because I'm a huge fan of photography. And I love photos. And I know how disconnected we've all become to where we all take good photos with our phone. We all know someone with a nice camera. So photos don't mean a lot to us, especially because they're in a timeline on our phone versus like if you physically flip through
See it.
Yeah.
pictures that you took. And he was doing that with these trips he's been on, like his whole life on this bike since '94. And he's like, oh, yeah, I met this girl. And it's like, they're all nude. They're chicks that he met at like, yeah, I hung out with this girl for about a month, and then she went on her way, and I went my way, and this picture and this story was, we jumped on the bike and we rode to this hot spring in Utah, and then we got about halfway there, and I was like, you know what? We got off the bike, and I told her to take her clothes off, and she did, and we jumped back on the bike and we rode naked for about 20 miles to this thing, and I'm like, that's fucking biker shit,
Motherfuckers
dude.
living the
That
dream.
That is biker shit. You know
That's
what I mean?
a hell yeah, brother moment
Hell
right there.
yes, brother.
Hell yes, brother.
Hell yes, brother. Little
HYB.
so much metal in my hands I can't close it.
HYB.
So that video was just like cool, and I think that like it's hard to figure out how to capture that kind of shit now because I can't take a picture of some girl that I was with a long time ago and are you jumping? I wasn't taking a picture of you.
No, I thought that was your foot I was kicking. But
Oh, hey, what's up?
hey, Gary.
So no, I can't do that on my phone. But like this dude just he captured all these memories and he just keeps them in a little Ziploc bag and some photos and keeps
up.
them on his
Badass.
pack. It's part of his life that he carries with him on his bike everywhere he goes. And
I dig that.
And
Yeah.
every picture he pulls out, he has a story and a memory
and that's what
about
he did.
that shit.
And that's what that video was, a story and a memory about every photo. And I'm like, fuck, that was cool.
so cool.
I don't have nothing like that. Like I could scroll through my phone. I'm like a whole bunch of reposted Instagram fucking stories and shit. You know, I got these little mayflies coming on.
I do think that there's something to that in the concept of being able to have things that are more tangible, that are not just fleeting like the internet is any longer. I don't know. So like today's youth seems to be very entrenched in retro stuff. Yeah. And when they say retro, it's basically
vintage
when we fucking grew up. So the thing, like the things that they're fucking with are like a re-release of a shoe that we fucking wore when we play hoop. Right. And I'm like, why is this popular all of a sudden? And they're talking about this retro, it's vintage, all that type of stuff. And then you think about some of the things like you're talking about photography. I love that shit as well. And I think about just the way that we've been photographed in our lifetime. So like when we were younger, we obviously had film processing, and that was all that there was.
Yeah.
And most film processing was it was relatively quick, you know, but it like when we first started processing film, it was not our photo shit. It was like, leave your shit, come back in a few days, it'll be ready. And then did you take this with a flash? Was it an external flash? Was it one of those ones where you had like 8 flashes on a stick and like it was a display, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of that. And then you moved into like disposable cameras, and then you moved into like digital photography and all. So I have a lot of memory items that date back, but then the quality, right? It wasn't nearly what it is today. It wasn't nearly what it is today. But some of the baddest ass shit was taken back then. Literally, we have filters today that put it in like vintage mode. You know what I mean?
You know, talking about what you're just saying right now and what I brought up, what it really puts me in the mind of is like, when I was thinking of this dude's photos that he was posting on there, it wasn't some photo shoot. You know what I mean? It wasn't a photo shoot. It was like
life,
candid, captured type.
Yes,
memories, life, right? And I think that's the one difference between. I think maybe Instagram's fault. You know, like when Instagram came along and everything was about how much of a story you could tell with a photo, everybody started taking more thought out photos, which means that turns into more
selfies and posing and all that
fake shit. It turned into more of setting up a set or a script,
staged
or something
photography.
Like that. Yeah, right. And so like you're seeing, I mean, we're guilty of that shit. We want to get the best fucking view of us at the Salt Flats or at this place, so we all set up, right? But it's really strange because like looking at this dude's photos, like they have so much more meaning to him. And it's just like, you know, hey, pose for me real quick. And she's like, she's butt naked and shit, right? Like that, that wasn't like some photo shoot, you know what I mean? And like,
just a quick snap.
You know,
and that
like,
was
dude, I wish that I had the ability to play that video because it's so fucking, we'll watch it when we get done with this shit. It's awesome, dude.
That's badass.
But, you know, when it comes to it, it's like, you know, that's why like taking photos and like, I want to start taking photos more of just the normal shit and get better at it. That's why I was asking you guys, like, you know, I want to like shoot people because I know all the great angles of bikes, but I don't know how to take photos of folks. And but no, that's one of the weird things that I was noticing in that is that everything was just natural and normal, and it meant so much to him. And I think nowadays we look at photos as how can we make this mean so much to somebody else and not ourselves? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like everything's churched up to try to like make everybody else like it versus getting what we like about it. You know what I mean?
Correct. Well, and the thing that I think I don't do it all the time because it's not always the easiest thing to do, but one thing I do enjoy doing personally with photography is trying to capture other individuals in a natural state or candid photos, like you said, that type of thing, without necessarily being recognized or whatever it may be. Primarily because there's just a genuine feel then to that photo, or there's something that isn't staged.
Yeah,
it's not always a perfect photo, but sometimes those are some of the coolest shots that I ever get. And moreover, it's one of those things that I don't know, when you're doing something that isn't about me, right? So like I'm just a guy, have social media like anybody else. But if I do a shot that isn't, me sitting in front of my bike and saying, "Hey, what's up?" or what, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it just stimulates my little artist spot that I have or whatever. But it does something more than that, because it gives me a rush. But I think it makes, so if I did that of you or somebody else, it gives them a photo that they otherwise would never have fucking had.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's
I think
like super gratifying.
That's the real satisfaction of being somebody that's trying to capture things photography wise, right?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing for a lot of, I mean, for myself included. Like, you have to get to, like, if you really want to take photos of things, you have to understand that you're not going to be the subject.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's
a lot
like
of times people get in.
self-deprecating thing. You want to get all, especially if you're trying to be a photographer, right? You want to get the credit for doing what you just did, but nobody, if you do it well, nobody knows who you are, because you're behind the lens, right? You're not actually the subject of the photo, and that's honestly there's a lot of cool to that. There's a lot of cool to that.
We haven't really talked about it, but like the trip I'm doing to New York in June, I'm meeting up with a customer. He's the customer that has the Muhammad Ali helmet. He's actually, I haven't met the dude personally, but about to spend a whole fucking week with the guy. You know what I mean?
All right.
But dude lives in like Harlem, has his life together. Real cool dude. He's graduating law school, and then I'm showing up like 2 weeks later, and he's spending his first hanging out like from after law school, and just with this bike trip we're gonna do all the way up to Maine and shit. But this kid, this guy, I don't know if he's a kid. I don't really know how old he is, but he's all into photography too. So he's like, dude, I got an A7 S2 blah 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 camera. I got a drone. I've got all this shit. I'm like, we're gonna do this whole trip through the Northeast, and like he's got a camera. And so, like, it made me feel like, fuck yeah. So I got my camera and I got my shit, but I'm going to focus on you, taking pictures of you on this trip, giving you something that you wouldn't have otherwise, in hopes that he's going to do the same for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That way, nothing has to be staged. We're
that's true.
we're
It's
both
just natural,
capturing everything. That's how me and my brother, when we did Sturgis that time for him, he had a camera, I had a camera. He didn't take any pictures. He had a lot of great shots of him.
He had a lot of great shots of him.
Yeah, I got a lot of great riding shots of him, and this fucking nerd was scared to ride through the mountains, so he's like,
Dude, he just started riding at that time too. To be fair, this motherfucker, leave him alone.
I don't care.
I'll bust Jesse's ball for a lot of other shit, but I'll give him.
Says
a break
the guy
on
that didn't
shit.
make it to the top of Pikes Peak.
Skirt.
Like bringing up bullshit.
You know what though? Actually, now that I think about it, we actually did, like, amongst ourselves, we did a pretty good job of capturing one another on our trip. It wasn't always perfect, but we did a pretty good job. I think everybody has gone home. I got a couple sleepers that I'm waiting to bring out on my fucking Mono Memories.
Oh, shit.
But I got a couple that, like, they're gangster photos of like people, not me.
I feel like Cody got some really dope ones of me. They're a little out of frame, but they get the point done.
Trying to ride with one hand, a picture.
Dude, I was on like Instagram Live for like 20 minutes going through like Utah.
That long strip we
as
had.
fuck, dog.
That long straight strip.
Because I was tripping out because I had
was,
like 4G.
taking pictures, swapping each other.
I mean,
it was weird.
You know what? I do remember that part when I feel like I stood up the whole time, just like riding on my feet. I don't know.
Yeah, you thought you were on an adventure bike or something.
I was.
No, that was good. That was a long strip where everybody was like had their phones out, taking pictures of each other. We're cruising like 80 mile an hour, no cars really.
There was nothing out there, man.
No.
As soon as you cross, like, what was it, Interstate 70?
Mm-hmm.
And we just crossed from Colorado into Utah, and it's like there's just nothing, but there was apparently cell towers everywhere because I had great service. You know what I mean?
I think that was where Jacob and I let him loose.
Oh yeah, we all blew past
Yeah.
us.
It's probably where Matt first came into his wheel bearing issues. But no, I mean, that trip we really did have a lot of great photos. I mean, that stretch, you know, Cody got a good couple of me. I want to say I got a couple of everybody else too. The only thing I hated myself for on that trip is I didn't take my actual camera.
Yeah.
You know, because my DSLR is kind of big, so I just took the GoPro. And the thing about the GoPro, it's like that shot that we got behind you. You were doing the behind.
Super dope.
And we were like fucking fist bumping
that
and
was a
shit.
good one.
Like, hell, brother.
Yeah,
you
brother.
know? But the problem was we were too far behind.
Right.
And
we
it didn't feel, dude, it felt like we were on his ass.
Yeah, I know.
But-
Yeah.
But the GoPro is such a wide angle.
I'll say this though: there's a distinct difference between. So, I don't necessarily have the greatest ability to do a lot of stuff in post.
Yeah.
So I do most of my adjustments during recording, right?
Yeah.
So there are certain times that I'll do something in live mode, whatever, standard speed, and then I'll do some shots in advanced speed. And I'm fairly certain that one was an advanced speed, and it takes it at a lower resolution.
That's right. That was a time lapse. Yeah.
So if it was not a time lapse, right? So if it was live speed, it would be a greater resolution, and you could zoom it to the point where there wouldn't have been any distortion, regardless of if you were 5 feet back or 20 feet back or whatever. It's a higher resolution.
That kind of brings me back to that other point we were just talking about. So that was a random thing. We knew you were videoing, and like Cody was next to me, and like it just like we locked eyes. And we're like, it's time to fist bump, brother, right now. Okay. And so, like doing that, but otherwise, like we would have had to stop, pull over, and be like, all right, so
set it up,
get it going, and then we're gonna roll it behind you and fist bump, and it's like, it's still probably
It's
a great
not-
shot. So, like I said, everybody else that's going to see that photo is going to get it like, oh, yeah, these dudes are fucking rolling. But then, like, it's kind of like you pull the curtain back. You're like, okay, well, they're still on the side of the highway planning all this out for 30 minutes.
Well,
and,
like
like,
you say,
it doesn't make you feel like it's natural or real biker
because
shit.
it's not natural. And I think that was actually one of the great parts about how we were able to capture a lot of that stuff is at no point in time during our whole trip did we ever set up, like, photos. We're like, all right, dude, you go around this corner and I'll fucking get you. Like it wasn't a thing like that.
It was like you just turned it on.
A
And
few
we
times,
rode.
yeah, it was like, all right, I'm finna throw the GoPro on the sissy bar. If anybody wants some shit, come up on my ass. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And it worked out pretty fucking well. I'd say.
It
I mean,
did. You get a lot
there
of
was some
those
shit that
shots.
was different, but I mean, you got all the footage, and I mean, really, the only laborious part was when we had all the footage going through it.
You had to filter through all that
Bro,
shit.
Took
I
me,
bet, yeah, it
took
took
me
you like 2 or 3 days.
Took me days to go through and just clip out
imagine
snaps.
this. So, like, you know, a lot of the video stuff I've been trying to get into, or I currently am getting into, the amount of effort. We didn't video anything on that trip. We didn't stop for any kind of video thing. We stopped at a couple places and took some shots, you know. But that was more like, hey, dude, this is a good vista. Let's shoot some shots of this shit, right?
Exactly.
But to do video, to do what Adam Sandoval does, or do what a lot of people with the vlogging shit does,
With like a production quality.
That's so much work.
you have to go
man.
set up a camera,
Go back.
hit a record, go back around the corner, ride around, and be like, "Whoa, that was awesome!" You know what I mean?
Pick it up, talk to it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, and all that fucking stuff. And it's like
That shit's weird.
that is my hurdle right now with the video shit.
I get that.
So I'm watching. Fucking Steve. He's still coming out of my mouth right now. Steve.
This is Steve Chamberlain.
Get off
Steve
his
Chamberlain.
job.
So like today, I was watching some of his videos on YouTube, and he sent me a message. He's like, "Yeah, I still suck at like not looking at because when you're doing that video shit, like you're supposed to look into the lens like this. And you're supposed to look into it, but you feel weird. Like you know, it's almost like you're looking in someone's eyes for a
Yeah,
little while.
somebody's
and you-
watching
Looking
you,
at the
yeah.
camera.
Yeah, and you got to you have to kind of change it. So it's like it's really hard to kind of do that. You know what I mean?
I can
Yeah.
get that.
The camera thing's not as bad as it was. Like I'm getting used to that, but it's the feeling of having to be a personality and not just be yourself. That's the hard part,
Right.
Because you never think about what you're going to say about something as if it's an open liner.
That's
You know
a
what I
very
mean?
good. Yeah, that's actually really, literally, if I'm just thinking in my own mind, and I don't know if the camera is on us or not, but like, so if I'm looking at you, I feel like I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? And we're just bullshitting. We're talking about whatever we want to talk. If I literally look 4 feet over, suddenly I got this thing in my face, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm a personality. I'm on motherfucking TV right now. And it really changes everything. Yeah. It really does.
So
I can understand how that could be weird, especially as you first start out on something.
And and don't get me wrong, like I've watched so many people on that do YouTubers, whatever you want to call it, and you watch them and you see how they get so fluid behind a camera, but they have their intro, their this, and I'm like, man, like I don't know if I've been trying to find what that is for me, but I don't know if I even want that. But I also don't know if I want to have such a loose-ass channel that it's kind of a pain in the ass to listen to, I
get the sense, just based on our conversations and the way that we kind of interpret that art medium, is that as opposed to putting out frequent video vlogs or moto camera shit or whatever you want to call it, like the thing that we are into is something that actually has some sense of purpose behind it, some cinematography with it, and like elements of actual production. You know what I'm saying? But also, and that's where it becomes super duper tricky, is you want elements of production, but not staged production.
Yeah. But you have to stage it
in certain ways. That's the thing. I don't know.
So as I've been videoing and basically what I've come to find is every time I've tried to do a video or I've tried to take it on a trip with me, and I'm like thinking, you're riding and you're thinking about these shots, and oh man, like right now I'm cruising across Kansas, the sun's going down. I'm like, I'd fuck me. You know what I mean?
Cold now.
I look pretty fucking cool. Yeah, you feel like, dude, this right here, like how do I, this feeling, this air, this smell, this wind on your arms, this visual in front of you, how do you capture that and put it in a video? How do you do it? You can't just.
You can't.
The wind noise.
You can do elements of it. You can do elements of it.
It's so
but
hard.
Just like we talked about earlier, just like all the traveling that we have done together.
Yeah.
We capture what we can, and we'd love to share that stuff with the world. But the actual experience itself, you cannot fucking, like, I can't make someone through a television screen feel that shit.
No.
Through a phone screen, feel that shit.
Well, that's what I think.
You'll never get it until you do it.
Yeah.
You'll never get it.
But you want to like create something that people will see and like, fuck, I want to try that, right?
Yeah.
And like shitty production quality, no one's gonna fucking pay attention to it.
I 100% agree with that. I am.
So like, what it boils down to is like trying to find a way to capture this shit in a truly real way. Yes. Without
as real as possible,
without following all the things that everybody does in the YouTube world when it comes to like vlogging or doing trips on bikes. It's like the moment that I realize, because at first you watch YouTube videos like, oh, this is cool, he's talking about this, he's talking about that, and then you're like, okay, I want to try that, and then you're like, oh, so he puts a camera on the curb and then rides up to it and picks it up.
That's not real.
I get it. Like, it's a shot. It's an idea, and it's a very commonly used shot. But it's like, you know how long that takes to do?
Oh wow.
I mean, like, if you're on a bike trip and you have to get from point A to point B, and I want to, like, document this trip and show you guys what it's about, I don't have time to ride up here. And even if I'm just going a couple hundred feet behind it and pulling up to it, it's still... It doesn't. It feels like you're spending more time capturing something that's not real and not capturing what is actually there.
And you're right, and I think that's why the reality of the situation is, if you were ever to do something truly cinematic quality, right? It's definitely not a one man job.
Yeah,
you need a camera crew.
There is a crew. There's audio engineers. There's editors. There's everything that you cannot be alone.
That would be like the long way round, long way down.
Yeah,
like they had
100%
camera crews with them to do that shit versus
or the Just think of the new Unknown video that dropped.
Yeah.
It was like 11 minutes long. You know how long that probably took to film?
11 minutes long. It took us 4 weeks to make.
It probably
Type
took a
thing.
fucking long time to film
just
that
to
shit.
film, and then to edit.
And they
a
cut it
bunch
down
of
to
other
11
hours.
minutes.
It's nuts.
The stunt community has not responded well to that video.
Well, the first
Really?
video was way better.
What do you mean?
the
Well,
stunt
it was more cinematic.
okay. Well,
dig that.
So
It was like a storyboard.
Right.
yeah, but that's how their videos have always kind of been. There's like more like or at least that. I mean, I think that the first video was like I think the music was way better, and it like showed them in more of their actual where they're from kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the video wasn't, dude. Cinematically, I fucking loved it. Like
Absolutely. It was
it was
beautiful.
great. So
It was really
I mean,
beautiful.
me and Zach, the dude that's been helping out here, like we watched it here the day they dropped it right here in the room.
Yeah.
And he's a stunt rider. Like he's been stunt riding for years, and he was talking. He's on these stunt forums. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, dude, people are clowning that video because the only dude apparently in their world, and which I'm just saying, I'm just regurgitating what they said.
Right.
Like that Tall Boy T is the only fucking dude that did shit that was like dope, and he's the one
I'll
that
tell
fucking
you what, the stuff that
the
he did
wide-
was really dope.
yeah.
But he like dragged his fucking armpit on the ground or something. Like
Yeah.
that shit was pretty gnarly.
And he's doing the wide fucking burnouts, like
Yeah.
laying that bitch down.
Yeah,
But
so
I hate that shit. Why? I guess that's just a product of progression, right?
Yeah.
Because no one should trivialize what those guys did because they did some pretty awesome stuff. It's just the fact that things progress and they have progressed in the stunt game
Yeah.
so quickly that stand up wheelies or that type of thing. They're talking about like that's no longer acceptable or that. Why do you hate on that type of stuff? Because guess what? Maybe to the guys that are doing stunts or the guys that are trying them, they might say, "Oh, that would be a generic type
Shit's
stunt."
weak.
yeah.
But what I think about the me's of the world, the people that ride motorcycle. How about the motherfuckers who don't ever ride a motorcycle, and they see that type of stuff because they dig Monster Energy and they like watching X Games and they like doing stuff like that, and they're like, "You fucking see these guys running fucking wheelies down the fucking Tucson?" I don't know what it is. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
still
But
fucking dope, but
I agree.
It's
I
super
totally
cool,
agree.
but
Yeah.
people hate to hate, and there's too much fucking hate in this world to begin with. So I don't understand why you need to pick apart something that clearly it took a lot of fucking time, took a lot of effort, and these guys. They've been doing it, right? This is not their first fucking merry-go-round, so they.
But it's
I don't know, man.
It's like everything,
they've
right?
been putting something out, and that was a quality product.
yeah.
Take it for what it is. Don't tear it apart. If you don't like it, don't like it. But I tell you what, they put a lot of fucking work into it. That's for damn sure. That's for damn. So if I put something out, I don't care if
They're
it's
like the guys
10
that-
minutes long or 2 hours long or whatever. But if I put that much work into something and people start tearing it up, I'd be kind of disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it seems like
Come on.
with what happened with what happened there was you have the stunt community, which I don't know. I'm speaking out of term here. I'm just speaking on it, but
I don't know.
you got like Unknown who kind of for sure did not birth Harley stunting, like Jason Pullen, a lot of other people before him, but they popularized it in a way, or they used the medium of social media or whatever they did. They made it cool and
with
put it
the
across
looks
board.
of their bikes
That
and
fucking
shit.
West Coast
They
flash,
stylized
baby.
their shit to where they
And
look
so-
fucking cool doing it.
Yeah.
But it goes back to that brand shit and that tribalism I was talking about earlier. When it comes to people, it's like everybody wants to be like, well, East Coasting is way sicker. They do way harder stunts. They do way better shit. Yeah, they do. They don't look as good doing it.
Yeah.
And that's for the people that don't stunt. Like you just said, I don't fucking stunt. I honestly don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
I do like when people put nice videos together and cultivate their culture that way and show it to the rest of us.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck, they're doing some hardcore shit. Us fucking riders need to get on that level. Like, we need to do shit like that, That's how I look at it. But you get these people that want to hate on it like that. It's like, man, like, everybody wants to hate on it, but at the same time are the first ones to jump on the dick if it's thrown out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
That's
I know exactly
a lot
what
of
you mean.
people. Like, oh, fuck that guy. hey, that guy wants to hang out. Oh, well, I guess he's cool.
Yeah. That
All
doesn't
the
make
time.
any sense to me.
Yeah, it's like,
it makes
dude,
no sense to me.
It's like you're just like in a world full of opinions. You just feel like you have to put one out there. Just don't.
Just don't.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Well, and because there's no repercussions for people's opinions no more on the internet.
Yeah, dude.
Because you're not
it's-
going to get punched in the fucking mouth for saying
and I
shit
mean,
on the
for
fucking
most
internet.
Part, like I mean, I'm not a like. I don't want to go around policing people and
No,
their
hell
fucking
no.
words and their ideas and their mouths and shit. Like I don't
No.
give like me going up and finding that dude that said something online
Who
and
gives
being
a
like,
shit?
"Yo, dude, like I'm right here, bro. What you want to do now?"
right,
You
yeah,
know, like
fuck that. No, you don't want to
what's
be
that
that
going to
person.
do for me?
Nothing.
You know, what's that going to do for anything, right? But the problem is that like I feel like so many people. You hear this all the time, like maybe not so much from around our scene, but you see it in other worlds. It's like people like you when you ain't got shit and you ain't doing shit, or you're doing stuff, but it hasn't hit yet, and then it hits, and all of a sudden you don't change, people change around you.
Right.
Is what I think really happens.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think the people around you change and they start thinking that you should do something different. Like I can't imagine what Danny Dixon's going through as he's continuing to grow in what he's doing with Dixon Flannel, knowing that 5 or 6 years ago he was working on a counter in fucking Harley Davidson, you know, selling Harley parts
Right.
with some
People
other
just
dude.
want to tear them down just
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah. Well,
Other,
people just
other
like-
than you are being more successful than I am.
People just like to hate.
Yeah.
Hate
that shit,
Haters
dude.
ball.
I don't know.
It's gross, man. It really
Yeah,
is.
it
is
gets
gross.
ugly.
What's
quick.
gross about it is that most of the people talking shit are the same people who don't really believe in it, because if Danny Dixon was like, "Hey, dude, I'm coming to fucking Phoenix," or he's from Phoenix, "I'm coming to Dallas, let's party."
They'd be
All
all
those
over
dick
his
riding
fucking
motherfuckers
nuts.
are showing up with
Damn
a
right.
Dixon flannel on, a
You got
hat,
that right.
socks,
Fuck
underwear,
yeah, they would.
and the shorts.
I just-
They don't even
I don't
match. They're just
understand
trying to wear it all.
I
All
don't
3 different
understand
colors.
that.
Yeah, they'd be all over it.
That's what I'm saying. If more people would get off the whole hate wagon and get on board with like supporting things that are really producing positivity, then more things will go forward further, faster.
So what's real? What's genuine? What? Who are you actually? Or are you just a persona online or whatever it might be? Why do you have to put out that
Go
type
pee,
of
you get more
vibe?
beer for you guys.
And, yeah.
carry this on.
Got it.
100%. Why do you have to put out that vibe
First
that
12-pack
you
going.
are not? I don't know, like especially in the motorcycle industry, right? The motorcycle industry as a whole is pretty small, and there's just not enough room for hate in it. Moreover, there's not enough room for people that are looking at other people in the industry that are motorcyclists themselves, and they're trying to do something positive or productive, like this Unknown video that we're talking about.
Right.
They're trying to put out some cool shit, right?
Hell yeah.
And they're probably not doing it for themselves. They're working with Monster. They're doing all that type of stuff. But guess what? They're doing something fucking cool. And they're putting together a little short film for you. So whether you're a film student or whether you're a motorcycle rider or whether you're just some Cali kid that's sitting on the beach checking out some dope shit, skater kid, whatever, it doesn't matter. Check out this dope video.
Yeah,
All right,
they
cool.
had cars in it. You know, they had lowriders. They
Yeah.
had fucking that 5.0 doing fucking burnouts, and
Exactly.
donuts and shit. I mean, they had a little bit of everything.
So what are you doing? Like, what's the point of putting that hate out in the world and not getting anything
It
back?
doesn't
Like, we talk
accomplish
about
nothing.
bringing it back to the fucking Campout. We talk about people that are positive people. I'm not saying everybody is a fucking, I don't know, a
Debbie Downer.
ball of positivity, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that these are all the people that are not tearing motherfuckers down.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
People that are putting themselves out there and actually showing up are people that want to raise the raise the environment, raise the industry, raise everything about
just
motorcycling, because it's
support
small
your
enough and it's
homies.
dying the way that it is.
Yeah.
So exactly.
Yeah.
So to have something out there in the world that is a quality product and to just tear it up for no reason, why? Why?
Well, just if you're not down with something, just let it be.
Just
why
fuck
you gotta
off,
talk, why,
too.
why do you got to talk
Fuck
shit
off.
about it? Fuck off, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't hate for no reason. Peace, love, and happiness, brother.
Penis, love, and what? Man,
That's good shit.
I'm like out of breath from walking up the stairs.
The motherfuckers steep.
Huh?
They're steep.
You're a pussy.
I know. I'm out of shape too. I drink beer and smoke cigarettes.
Man, so I guess we can wrap this up.
Where you at?
2:30.
It's not bad.
Yeah. We got other shit to do.
You gonna let James come back?
Just cut it off while he's back. He's gonna walk back with an idea like, so I was also thinking about this while I was pissing, and like,
Right.
we're done.
We
Let him come back.
Cut you off, brother.
Anyway, so I guess if you guys are interested, you should come to the Fast Life Campout. It's gonna be a great time.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have a good time.
Hell yeah, brother. You'll hear a lot of brothers.
The
Maybe some hell yeah sisters.
couple hell yeah sisters. I don't know. There's nothing, like, everybody keeps asking me questions about it, and I'm like, the only thing I know is the dates and the location. I don't know.
Show up.
I don't know where we're gonna eat. Figure that out when we get there.
There's a few food truck last year.
Yeah, there was a food truck last year. Don't know if we'll be there this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all adults. I'm sure if you get hungry, you'll figure it out.
What's it, 10 miles the closest town?
Yeah, but there's that gas station right around
The gas
corner.
station sells shit too, yeah.
Yeah.
Adam's been stocking beer, so
Yeah, he keeps beer on stock, so we can do
fuck
that.
it. Yep. You ain't got to go nowhere to get beer, just food.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be a food truck because that bitch worked out good last year.
Dude, both times food truck was came in handy as fuck. So,
That food truck?
yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It was a good food truck. Actually, so I was trying to
Told you.
what?
Nothing.
I was trying to like remember back and kind of, I don't know, reinvigorate the conversation about Campout, what we've been doing and that type of thing. And I just I was looking at maps and I was looking at road routes and that type of thing this afternoon on just the Antlers area, Cave River, Moyers, all around there, right?
Yeah.
And when I pulled it up, I just pulled up K River Resort, and they had like Google Photos. I don't even know how people post on Google Photos or whatever.
Oh, yeah, you can add your own.
Well, I tell you what,
Yeah.
somebody added some motherfuckers because you're on Google and you're on Google.
Really?
Serious?
Yeah, both of y'all. Both of y'all on Google, just random ass photos.
The Google
Just like,
Maps?
Like if you Google K River Resort?
Yeah, like so I'm literally on Google Maps. I'm working through maps.
That's awesome.
But on like K River Campground or whatever, it comes up with, I don't even know, quite a few photos. But it's like individuals load them up or some shit. And you're on one randomly. I know exactly when it was. It was when we did the very first original. Was
that naked?
Steak? No, you weren't. We were doing the stakeout, campout,
Yeah.
whatever.
You know, fucking
And
Sturgis in this
and it was
bitch.
when you were like packing up your gear and fucking God dang it, what's her name?
Giselle.
Giselle was there. Yes, Giselle. I'm sorry.
There's Trent and Mark.
Yes, exactly.
So
it was him. It was
Yeah, brother.
gosh, why can't I remember? Punch Drunk Chef on Instagram. He's Trent's friend. He's Hoyt's friend. Gosh, I'm angry that I can't remember his name. Anyways, he took some photos and posted them, and yeah, there was. But you were not on his photos. You were on his photos.
Really?
You were ordering something from the truck.
Oh, yeah?
the lunch truck or whatever.
Fat ass.
But you're on another random ass person's photos. On you were just like packing up. I think probably packing up your original equipment from the very first camp out. Because remember that was part of the reason you went up there is you did the
Yeah.
first Sandoval
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I still remember that shit because meanwhile, when Jace was in doing the podcast,
It was raining, wasn't it?
it was pouring, and we was standing outside in the rain waiting for this motherfucker to get done with his 2-hour podcast.
With your
I'm
shirts off.
like, that was later.
No, that came.
That was
the
later.
reason the shirts came off was because of the humidity that came after.
so
that
hot
rain.
as
Yeah, yo, as soon as it got done raining, what happened? The sun came out and it was like 75 degrees, and all that rain was just bringing up that water
It was
heat.
gross.
Oh, it was hot. It was mad. We were dripping, and we were playing shirtless bags, and then like motherfuckers rolled up later on. Like that, honestly, we want to start talking about what really started all this. It was that shit. And we were really getting into it because we were just like exploring into the wild. We were out there. We were just doing it.
Sounds gay.
It was gay.
I'm down.
But we all had our
You guys
shirts
want
on.
to get gay tonight? I'm
We
down.
all took our shirts off. There was no food truck that time.
Yeah.
Not at all. So
There was a taco truck, but I think it came.
no, not that time. Remember that's
taco truck
when
was
we
the first
met
time?
Big Sexy.
Yeah.
So that's when Big Sexy come through with his truck, right? And we
Yeah.
didn't have no fucking food. So like the closest gas station was the one down the street or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he went up there, and I don't know, couple 1, 2, 3 guys went up there and came back with like 13 fucking medium pizzas. It was the best
Them
because
Hunt's-
we were
them
all
Hunt's
fucked
pizzas?
up. Yes, it was the greatest. And then like,
Hilarious.
and we were still meeting people that we like. That was the first time we met Sean. He had come out, and that was the first time because he came with Saxon and Jesse.
They did a lot of drugs.
Yeah, and shit, that's what forever. I've called Sean the pharmacist ever since that because this motherfucker is like he opens up his trench coat and he's like loaded up with everything.
Loaded down.
Fucking snorted some caffeine pills that day. I didn't even know.
Snorted them?
Yeah,
Did you think it was Coke?
I know. I was dragging ass. I'm like, I don't even know. Let's do something.
Shit. Hell yeah,
It
brother.
was a good time.
Yeah, I think last time I want to say like Saxon and maybe Jaden were like fucked up on mushrooms.
Oh
like,
yeah,
the
last
whole
year
time.
Jaden got fucked up on
Yeah.
shrooms.
I know
It's past tense, so they
Chief
can't
got
get in
mad,
Yeah.
fucked up last time too. He got so stoned that he just spent the like weekend in his hammock,
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
like laid back in his hammock.
just so high that I can't move.
I got this picture of Matt in his tent. There was
Yeah.
one point in time where Matt and like my wife and his wife Amber, they all went to their tent to go smoke the bong, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm just walking around like trying to find shit. I'm drunk as fuck. I'm just like taking pictures of shit. And there's just like this light in the tent in the distance, and I'm getting close. I'm like, I think I was doing like a live story or some shit.
Yeah.
And this dude's just sitting here with this longest bong ever. He's like, and I'm just like, what are you doing there, Matt? Hey, bro.
What's going on there?
I think I was on live Instagram or some shit.
Was it the first one or the second one where
I
you
think
went
it
live and
was,
started talking shit about like baggers or some shit?
Oh, that was every time.
yeah,
I did all that. That's my thing. That's my go-to.
That's it.
I think that
Hey y'all,
I think that was
I'm about to go
last
live. Fuck these motherfuckers there.
You need to stop me from that shit. So
Fast Life Campout 3.
year. I'm pretty sure
All
he
right, next
said,
round of
if
shit
you're out
talk.
of fucking sports or you're fucking gay. I love you, Cody Melton.
I think he didn't show up to that one though, did
No, he didn't.
He ain't been one yet.
he? Yeah. Well,
Has he? I'm actually stoked because I feel like
He's coming this year.
I feel like Texas Extended is going to show up finally this year, and that actually excites me because if we can't get our own state to show up, fuck, come on.
well, it's like everything, man. I was talking about this with somebody this week because this is the third podcast this week I've done.
Really?
Yeah. So I've had a conversation with someone, and that was the conversation. It's like, it seems like whatever state you live in, people don't want to fuck with what you're doing there. They want to fuck with whatever somebody's doing somewhere else.
You're right.
You know?
You're right.
And so, like, when you put stuff on, like, that was always the big thing, even when we did Texas Hills and, like, those type of things. It's like nobody wanted to fucking put in the effort to show up to events. Like, you got these people who are trying all they can to create something that's cheap, easy, carefree, have a good time.
Right.
And you don't want to show it because it's not the same kind of coverage on social media or some shit, you know?
That's
You're like,
that
oh,
shit.
well, you know what? I really want to go to Born Free. I want to go to Born Free, so I'm just going to save my vacation time. I'm like, dude, like, it's – I mean, I get it. Go to Born Free. It's a great experience. You know, go try that out too. But, you know, don't keep sleeping on these things that are in your backyard because next thing you know, you're going to be showing up to it after 5 years when it's something much bigger, being like, oh, yeah, you know, that's here too. You know, that's, you know, I'm from Texas, you know, or I'm from Oklahoma or
We
whatever.
miss
the fuck.
out on the origination,
Like,
the growth.
Go help things grow in your own backyard. That way you have something to do in your own backyard.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
You know?
If you don't support local shows, then the shit's
They
going to
won't
go
go.
away.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Giddy Up.
Hey, don't even call it local.
Which it had a lot of support.
Yeah.
but-
Don't call it local no more because I'm crossing borders. It ain't even a Texas show. It's an Oklahoma show.
Okies.
Come out to this Oklahoma shit.
Yeah, and the reason why we do it in Oklahoma is pretty simple because
That's where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good place because where we're at in Oklahoma, it's like you're tucked in between like Indian reservations and like county, so there's like not a lot of fucking police out there.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking lawless.
Yeah, it's
there ain't no
very
doubt
lawless.
about it.
I don't even remember seeing a cop.
Yo, it was last year. It was last year, second. So Campout 2 official.
Somebody got stopped.
No, remember we were all ripping into town.
Yeah.
We were all ripping into town, and so in all the 4 times we've been there, never seen a policeman
We
ever.
were hauling ass too.
And we were ripping,
'Cause we
and
went
all of
to
a
that
sudden we
burger
saw a
shack.
trooper. Yeah, we were going to get some grub, and we seen a trooper, right? And everybody just split, right?
Yeah.
Woof, doof, doof. And they're like, "Where are you gonna fucking go? You're out in the middle of nowhere, and
They
you
know
got
where you're going."
Half of us at the burger shack, half of us at the gas station, all over the place. And the guy literally just came up. He's like, he stopped us at the gas station. He's like, so what are y'all up to? He's like, we're just camping at K River Campground. All right, well, I'm not gonna chase y'all down, that type of thing, but don't run away from me. Like, if you're gonna do some food, like don't do that shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really give a fuck, but
Dude.
don't be that guy.
You have no idea the relief.
They clearly don't
the
give
relief
a fuck.
I had when, because my wife was on the back at the time, and I was speeding, but I wasn't like the one. You know what I mean? But just, you know what it's like when you're riding and then you're with a group and then the cop pulls around. You're like,
yeah.
fuck, and it's as soon as they pass you, it's like as they pass you, they suck all that anxiety off of you and
They
take
sure
it with
do.
them.
They sure
and you're
do.
like, fuck yeah, it's not me.
Yeah.
Y'all are fucked, but I'm good.
And you're
You
like,
know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I thought, pussy. Better keep going.
You turn from pussycat into shit talk. Oh, don't put me over. No. Fuck you.
Ate piece of shit like you for breakfast.
I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
That burger spot was good as fuck too, though.
It really was. I'll go back. They had
remember
good
the
shakes. I had
burger
a
spot.
shake. Oof. Had to get off my
These
diet.
fucking Okies got it down, man.
Okie
It doesn't look.
Okie
They don't have
goggles?
presentation down very well, but they got good
No,
food.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the shack literally looks like a shack.
Yeah.
It's greasy and all nasty, but good.
It felt like the kind of place you would like, in maybe in the '70s, you'd probably buy like some ammo lockers and maybe some like
That's what they fry their fries in.
it's just like old like used war items and shit like that, like some fucking
Believe that.
But yeah,
What's an ammo locker? A safe?
What?
an ammo locker is like, it's like the little fucking thing they put ammo in, and it's like a little metal.
Like ammo can?
box,
Is that what it is? A can?
Yeah.
Can? I
It has a lock
I knew what
on
you're
it,
talking
dude.
about.
It does have a lock on
Ammo
it.
can.
Is that the
Alright.
technical?
Jacob, school these bitches.
Oh shit!
Hell yeah, brother.
Hey,
You know a funny thing about
Jacob
ammo?
said give him a live yee.
Back where I grew up, there was a town not too far from where I went to school that had like World War II ammunition manufacturing shit. And they, like, after, just like any other thing, like when the war's over and people move out of town or whatever, it just becomes unused.
Yeah.
Well, this place apparently did not necessarily become unused. They had like a whole bunch of above ground bunker type stuff, but then they had a whole shitload of like football field long type underground ammo storage places, and it was pretty gnarly. It was pretty gnarly for sure. What?
I was like,
Are you streaming yourself?
no, it was someone tagged me in it, so guess we're like official.
We're on the live.
How many beers you had, Cody? You're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y'all were drinking before you showed up.
Yeah,
though.
we sure were. We went to happy hour, dog.
had,
after the last one, we were like, Jay's gonna be so mad at us, dude.
Yeah,
We fucked up. We coming over to the podcast because we was
One
drunk.
Corona Rita and 3 beers.
Yeah, the big ones.
What they call them? The fucking.
I don't know.
I don't even remember
What time? I don't even know what time it is, but we've been
10
drinking
now.
since 10. Well, we've been drinking since about 3:20.
pussies. I gotta leave about 6 a.m.
Go on. Go and get.
Well, we're not going to bed yet.
We
No, I know that.
I'm going home.
We can wrap this up, though.
Ain't no pussy.
We
We
done?
gotta wrap it up. I got things to talk about.
Say it.
That's all right.
You good?
JK.
Look at all these, cameraman. I prepared notes.
This motherfucker's professional.
Trying to help my boy. And we pretty much covered it all. So
I'm glad that you use Wells Fargo time to get that shit done.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All that fucking $45 bank fee I just paid a couple of days ago for Wells Fargo.
It went right into my pocket. It went right into my pocket.
I appreciate that.
So I just gave it back to you.
Man,
in this form.
It's kind of like Lion King.
He got a huge ass bonus today.
Lies.
All right, well.
Son, show off my
Oh, Lord.
Is that a mullet?
Lord.
my Harley emblem right here.
Oh, my God.
So y'all know.
When did you start that? Like last week?
Trying to catch up.
Dude, these boys been on this.
No, man.
They're trying to do these
So
Sturgis
tell everybody what
mullets.
the mullet thing's about right now, because
I'm not real sure.
so
Bringing the 80s back.
so obviously Kyle, our buddy Kyle, Jive Ass Honky on
Yeah,
Instagram,
he's got
is
a
like the
mean-ass mullet.
OG
He
mullet
killed it.
carrier. You know, if he was patient zero, I would think he's
Yeah.
or he is
glorious.
patient zero.
He's got it.
And then I guess who started fucking trying to pull the mullet off afterward? Was it
Fucking,
So-
well, Steve's trying to do it now, too. And then
Steve and Craig
Craig.
got a pretty
Craig
good
trying
one
to do
going
it too,
on already.
yeah.
And then we was talking about in the Sturgis group chat or whatever. Jay was talking about he's gonna start one. Jones said he was gonna start one. All that. I'm like, nah, fuck that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll start one. I'll
Yeah.
go. I can go 8 months and grow a fucking mullet. Fuck it. So
yeah,
I did it.
Not I.
I could probably grow a skullet. That's probably it.
Yo, Kyle said, fuck all these guys with mullets. He's on that skullet game now.
Yeah. I might have to turn it
This
into
right here, it don't grow that much right here.
I want to see you with long hair.
Oh man,
I might have to turn it into a mohawk.
Mr. Still Your Girl, son.
Go on, do it. Go on, do it.
Maybe that'll work.
What?
I'll turn a mohawk into a mullet. That'd be pretty cool.
So is that like a modern day mullet?
I don't know. Just gotta change it up. Perm this bitch.
Yo, that's like the next level.
Yeah.
People just doing that straight hair game. You need to go on with the
My
curls.
shit-
Be all
It won't be
dangly.
long. My shit's gonna get curly.
Get a fucking like Jean-Claude Van Damme mullet.
Yeah, bro.
He had a fucking sick ass mullet. Was it Hard to Kill or something? What was the one where he was like, was it Hard to
I
Kill?
think it was hard to kill.
Every movie
Just
he's
fucking
ever been
sick.
in.
always had that
Just a fucking boss.
Ponytail deal though.
Now, he had some curls at
Yeah.
the end of that shit
He
at
may
one
have
point.
permed that bitch.
Steven Seagal.
He fucks.
He fucks.
He fucks.
He fucked everything ever lived in the 80s.
Dude, they probably created the coronavirus.
That's right. It's just coming out. Called the Van Damme.
Van Damme.
Man. So for sure, this camp out's going to be lots of drinking. 3 nights of it.
100%.
Lots of shit talking.
I want to get drunk.
Oklahoma's legal medically for marijuana.
Yeah, you can get your
Yo, I tell you
medicinal
what.
card and
The
Toke
best
it up.
part about like the location and everything is the fact that you don't really got to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
No,
it's
no.
I think it's like 10 miles, 8 miles from the closest fucking town.
Yeah.
So police ain't coming out
no.
at
Yeah.
all.
Don't die.
So y'all going to be just fine with all the drugs you can carry.
Yes.
Every one of them. So go and get fucked up, because I'm going to guarantee. That's the best part about it, is there's no repercussions. You show up, once your tent's set up, you ain't got to be responsible for 3 days, and then you're ready to go.
If anybody knows where you can get some good shrooms, I'm asking for a friend. So
I don't know if we're supposed to do this on
bring 'em.
live Instagram. I don't know if that works that way.
asking for a friend
Drug
again.
guy.
We're looking for all kinds of drugs. If you know anywhere to get them,
Hooers and cocaine.
I think we're gonna do a lot of edibles. Matt's got a huge he's taken.
I'm pretty impressed with that. Not
Yeah,
gonna
they
lie.
look good.
I told Cody today, I said,
I love edibles too,
I'm going to
man.
let
They're
the
so fun.
stoners try them first, because if the stoners get fucked up on them, they ain't for me.
Are they sativa? Are they sativa or indica?
I don't fucking know. In the couch. Dude, I didn't get edibles when we did the Cali trip, but when I was in SEMA, I bought a whole fucking thing of them, and I fucking love them.
Really?
Dude, I eat like just a little bit. Every time I'm like getting all tense and stressed, I fucking eat like a half of one, and
What does
it
it
mellows
do?
me out.
What does it do? For it? Just super chill or what?
I think I got indica gummies, and it just makes my body feel a lot more looser. Almost like how I was saying, not as intense, but like say after you go work out, how you just feel kind of loose and like
Stretched everything out. Fucking.
So like, I guess it's the anxiety that I kind of get, which I hate saying that word because I've never considered myself to have anxiety.
Yeah.
Until I kept hearing it everywhere.
That's a
and then I
millennial
was talking
word.
to my wife, and I was like, yeah. So I always feel tense on my shoulders and feel like someone's trying to like hold me when I'm just trying to move. Like that's anxiety. I'm like, oh fuck.
That's not anxiety.
just
You
call it
need a good
stress.
massage.
You got like
Probably.
muscle stress, that type of thing, where you're like pinched up.
My shit gets
Yeah.
tense all the time. Right
Massage.
Here on my shoulder.
Well, no, like
Cure
it's
it
not
up.
just like one muscle group. It's like everything just
Yeah.
feels.
Oh.
It's like my whole right side is all tensed
Yeah.
up.
I don't know. I don't really care what the
That's
fuck it's
a-
called. It does happen to me.
That's
Whatever it
symptoms
is.
of a stroke. You might want to get that checked out.
But so when I eat this stuff, it just kind of loosens me up, and that's like beer does it too for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I drink a lot. You know,
gang.
brother.
fuck it.
Gang, gang.
I feel like that's why we all do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dealing with our 30s.
100%. 100%.
Lets me sleep well.
Anyway, so
I don't know.
that's it.
I feel like we could talk about stuff all night, but
Yeah, it's just a run-on sentence at this point.
it is. About that Campout.
We're losing listeners.
It is. You're probably right.
All right,
You're probably right.
so
I think we put a period on that sentence.
April 23rd through the 26th, K River
right.
Campground.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's a good time. Show up. If you don't, it's your loss, not mine, because I'm gonna be there,
100%.
100%. So,
We're going to have fun.
all right, you guys have a good time.
Yes, sir. Thanks
Yes,
for having
sir.
us.
Later, nerds.
Later.
Deuces.
Really hope you guys enjoyed that. I want to thank James and Cody for coming out and always supporting everything we do here at the Fast Life Garage and just being some rad dudes that you know I look up to. So thank you, fellas. And I want to also thank my sponsors, SimpsonMotorcycleHelmets.com, TeamDreamRides.com, BigBearPerformance.com, PaintHuffer.com with Fast Life 13 at checkout for 10% off. ShopTmax.com, Lexan-Moto.com, Fast Life for 15% off your entire order at checkout. And last but not least, BoostedBrad.com and Fast Life to save yourself 5% off your order. So check those guys out. And also check us out at FastLifeGarage.com, where you can get a link to our Patreon, you can get a link to our YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram, everything you want to check us out on. We have been having a little bit of difficulty with live streaming to YouTube the last couple of episodes. Not on my fault is what I'm understanding. So what we have been doing is when we do the live streams and the video podcast, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, it's always going to be on our website. So you can always go there and check it out and catch wherever it was instead of like chasing it around. So last two have been on Facebook. About to do one today. Might be on Facebook. I think we're going to be doing one today with Adam Sandoval, catching up with him and seeing how he's doing. So, you know, stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you guys in a couple more days on this podcast. So have a good day, week, whatever. Peace.